Shalom, 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 Mishpachah. Can I be heard?
Hello.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. How is everybody doing?
Fine. Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm getting a lot of shaloms.
How are you?
I'm doing
How you
great,
doing?
Elder. I'm doing great, Elder. Sister Tina, is that you?
Yes,
All right. Shalom, sis. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear your voice. I'm glad to hear all your
Thank you.
voices.
Glad to hear yours too.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing you in what is it? A couple weeks? Wow.
Uh-huh.
All praises to the Most High. Brothers and sisters, I want to greet you all in the name of our soon coming King, thanking him for his love and his mercy which endures forever. I want to say shalom to our brothers and sisters scattered across this entire earth, four corners of the earth, over in Europe, England, those in the Virgin Islands, throughout the Caribbean, Jamaica, Antigua, Dominica, all those islands over there, South, Central America, North America, all over America. I want to say shalom to you all. And also, not forgetting Canada. We got 3 call-in numbers on the screen. You can probably see it. You can call in tonight and you can ask your questions with regards to Passover. I know that some of you have certain questions. I may not remember everything. So you may want to dial in. If you're in the U.S., it's 605-475-2875. That's 605-475-2875. And put in that code number on the bottom, which is 9248738. And if you are in England, the UK, you can dial in 0330-777-1307. That is 0330-777-1307. And put in the same code number, which is 9248738. If you are in Canada, the number is 867-292-3030. That's 867-292-3030. So you can dial those numbers. Again, the code number is the same all around. It's 9248738. So you can put that in and talk to us. Let us know what's on your mind, and we can share what the Most High has given us. We don't know everything, and don't believe everything that we're saying. Please research for yourself, okay? All right, so before we start, let's have a word of prayer in the language of our forefathers and also the language of this unfortunate captivity. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et derek ha-Yeshua be-Mashiach Yeshua. Blessed are you, O Yahweh, our Abba, King of the universe, who has given us the way to salvation in Yeshua HaMashiach. Abba, I'm grateful to you for your love and your mercy, which endures forever. I'm thanking you for health and strength. I thank you for my family and all our families scattered across this entire earth. The whole house of Abraham, the whole house of Jacob, Isaac, the family that you have pronounced both a blessing and cursing upon us. And Father, we ask that our redemption will be this year, that you will truly wrap things up and remove the curse that have been on our people for so long a time. Abba, we love you. We are reaching out to you. We are asking you, please deliver us. Please put an end to these nations. Make the time short. Abba, I pray that you'll open the eyes of our people, help them to put aside petty differences things that will not get them into the kingdom, because you said that you will teach us of your ways. So I pray that you said this is truly how we present ourselves as your disciples, that we love one another. So Abba, I pray that this love will be within us. May your name be praised forever. May you use my lips to speak your words, and your name be glorified forever. In Yeshua's name, amen. Hallelujah. Brothers and sisters, we are going to talk about preparation for Passover and some things that we didn't have a chance to talk about last week or just a few days ago, because time is going so fast. So we're going to hopefully tackle a few of it, and I do have some, let me see, I got one question here, which I'll tackle in a moment. But before we go into our class, I would like to remind us that the year is winding down rapidly, and we're going to begin a brand new year. And we give all praises to our King that he has given all of us health and strength to be on the land of the living, to be here, that we can live and breathe and see life, and to appreciate the beauty that the Most High has given us. Many people did not make it to see even the end of this year, and we are very fortunate and blessed by our King that we have this opportunity. I want to give all praises to the Most High for, first of all, my wife, who have been with me on this journey for quite a long time. We have been in this ministry for such a long time that it's very difficult to separate one thing from the other. She has been very supportive in this ministry. There are times when she want to throw our hands up and say, that's it, peace out, shalom. But it's in her spirit that she has never given up this walk. I also want to thank the Most High for my son, who has also been there in this walk. And I also want to give a special shout out and all praises to the Most High for my father, Elagulab, who has been a very good role model to me as a teacher. He has long been in this walk and has been a faithful servant. There were times when we started this the conference teaching, the live teaching for others outside of our circle. I should say square, circle, square. There were times when there was no one in the call until late. Sometimes, folks won't get on until 45 minutes later. And, come on late. You know how Hebrews are already. And even when he was on travel to the islands, he would get his card and put his little monies on there, and he would call in, and he would try to get people to listen in to the conference. And even when his line was very scratchy, couldn't understand a word he was saying, or there was a lot of rain or noise in his background, he was still on the call. Even when a lot of the people that he was trying to share the truth with will fall asleep, Elder will still be there. My father, my dad will still be there on the line. And I give all praises to him, and also my Ima Anna. I thank the Most High for her. She has also been a mirror of my wife, in the sense of knowing the scriptures very well. If there's one woman besides my wife who knows the scripture, it is my mother. Very, very sharp. She carry a dagger in her stockings, and you have to be very careful to try to make any moves outside of what is right, and she will apply that weapon accordingly. Okay? So I give all praises to her, to the Most High for her long service in this ministry, and been very supportive for many, many years. I also want to give praises to my brother Kifa, who, even though at times he was unable to really attend, but he always turned on his phone and listened in and put my father, my mother on to listen in, even because the way the connection works, sometimes they're not able to connect, and he will use his phone and try to set them up and different things like that. And so I give all praises to the Most High for him, for his support. Not forgetting also my brother Josh, who have been supportive with the readings and trying his best to walk this walk in shalom. There are times that we butt heads in certain things, but for the most part, he has a good heart, and I pray that the Most High will use him to be the man that he should be. I also want to give praises to many of you all who have followed this ministry for many years. Some of you all who are new don't know, who have been supportive, listening, coming on and encouraging and spreading the word. And I want to thank all of you all who have been on this walk for a long time. The Felix family, can't forget them in the Virgin Islands. Very good people, brothers and sisters in this walk. I've known them for pretty much all my life. If you want to meet someone who loves the word, that's them. Someone who lay their lives down for the word, that's them. And I thank the Most High for them, and I pray that the Most High will use them as, well, he's already using them, but to continue using them as vehicles for the kingdom. And also, if I have I forgotten anyone? No? Also, Dod Shemuel, my uncle, in this ministry. Another elder, I would say, in this walk. Many, many, many moons in this walk. Always encouraging me. Always encouraging me. He's like my second dad. And I'm like his second son. And I thank the Most High for him. Many, many years in this walk, even though others may not listen to what he have to say on his neck of the woods, he has not dropped the ball, and he has been faithful in the service for a very long time. Very supportive, very, very supportive. And also to my newly coming brothers and sisters, I want to say I thank you all for being patient, long-suffering, and listening and learning, and to understand that we don't know everything. All of us, we are searching, seeking, and trying our best to walk this walk to Zion. There are some of us who can be a little bit impatient. They want to see the promised land now. They want to see the full scope of things now. They want to understand everything now, as if the Most High gives everything now. He doesn't do that. He gives everything in measure, both the punishment, blessings, everything. If the Most High had to pour out a blessing all at once, I don't think we'll be able to retain it, sustain it, retain it, contain it. Okay, we will burst. We're not able to hold everything. So he gives us, he says, like the dew, the early and latter rain, a little bit of drizzle in the morning just to keep us moist. So when the heat of the day comes by, frustrations of life happen, things happen along the journey, we have sufficient to carry us until the evening. And then he gives us a little more strength, put us to bed. He has been a very good shepherd to Israel. He has always loved us and cared for us. And I want us to understand this concept, because I know some of you all may feel that I've been a little bit tough on you, and you really haven't seen tough. If you think that it's tough, you have no idea. But I understand, and I pray that you understand the need to be in this walk, because if we don't tighten up ourselves, brothers and sisters, we will be no different than the church. And we don't want to be like the church. We want to be as Hebrews should be in this walk in righteousness, as true Israelites. So let's talk about preparation for Passover. And before we go there, I just want to also a couple things. Also, thank those of you who have been financially supportive to the ministry. Your shekels have been a blessing, has helped pay some of the bills around here and keep things going. And it also shows much about your heart that you really would like to see this work move forward. There are so many things that I have spoken of I would like to do, but when it all boils down, it's all about having the shekels to do it. I am a person, I don't like to ask for anything. I prefer to work with my own hands and get what is necessary for me to be able to do the ministry, because then you're not held hostage by people who would say, well, I know you need these bills paid and whatnot, and if you don't agree with this agenda or my ideas or whatever the case may be, we can shut you down, and therefore the whole ministry will just implode and collapse. And so I like to be a free agent, no denomination, no affiliation, nothing, just the Most High funding everything. So that's one of the reasons, and the main reasons why I don't believe in asking for anything. If you want to help sustain the ministry, it's a free will offering, and you put it there because you believe in this walk, in this work, and we will achieve many things. There are a lot of brothers and sisters who are waking up via YouTube. I don't stream. I can stream live to YouTube and reach more people, but I like to filter things out. There are a lot of trolls out there and people who come in for no other reasons than to disrupt and to behave themselves unseemly. And there are people who come in with their mouth open and their ears closed. And you can't, there's no way you can reach people like that. Even if you are, even if, let's say, for example, if they are correct in whatever that they're bringing, the Bible talks about let us reason. We have to approach things by reasoning and having proper discourse. So, I prefer this format, and then if anything is needs to be uploaded on YouTube, then I will take it the next step. Also, I want to remind you all to please mute if there's any noises in your area. We don't need to hear it, and you don't want to be embarrassed either. So just remember that too. Let me look at a little piece of news here. Just two pieces of news for this week that I'd like to touch on. Nothing really important, but just something to remind us that we are definitely in the end times. Now, of course, there are a lot of things that happen in the news, but I just want to cover these two real quick. In the news, in the Telegraph, the UK, let me see if I can pull it up. The UK Telegraph. Okay, so what's happening here? Again, let me see if you can get it up, and then I'll show you. They're talking about, okay, come on. Let's see if we can copy this. Okay. They're talking about, okay, so that's not coming up for some reason. Let's try it again. They're talking about replacing the police officers with robots or RoboCop type people, and let me see if we can pull it up. Let's see. In the news. Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and read it because for some reason it's just not coming up. All right. But you can probably pull it up when you have some time. In the news, in the Telegraph, the UK Telegraph, it spoke about very soon in the future they're going to have police officers, real live police officers, being replaced by these cyborg type people or creatures, half robot, half man. And we can see the technology is already there when you look at how many injuries from Iraq and these different wars and whatnot. People coming back with no limbs and missing body parts, and the scientists are all too happy to attach some type of bionic apparatus on their bodies. And so because of the technology that's available in our time, we can see that the possibilities are definitely there. We can see already that Google and Apple and all these different major internet companies and whatnot, tech companies, are already experimenting with robots for vehicles, cars, planes, and drones and whatnot. Amazon is already testing drones for delivery and whatnot. So most definitely it's become part of our society to utilize robots and whatnot. So definitely, brothers and sisters, these are things that we saw in the movies 20 years ago, and now it's becoming a reality. Also in the news, just to show us that we are definitely in the end time. In the CBS News, you can pull it up. They're talking about implants and facelifts for pets, plastic surgery for pets. People have become so in love, infatuated with their pooches, with their dogs and whatnot, that they are going to spending monies that could be used for something more important than this nonsense. And they're actually having their dogs go through, facial implants and surgeries and whatnot. It really shows, it gives a clearer view of where we are in these days, brothers and sisters, and why we need to have ourselves focus on righteousness, because it's going to be a time when the organic, the natural, the way of the Most High will seem strange, because wickedness have exceeded so much. Things have become so distorted that just the same way when you go to the supermarket, there's a small area in the supermarket for organic stuff, and the organic costs more, but the artificial, the stuff that is concentrated and treated and processed and all that stuff, it's popular, it's everywhere. So you and I, who are trying to preserve ourselves in righteousness, to be a righteous seed unto the Most High, we will become a rarity in this society and a strange people. And also, brothers and sisters, probably even persecuted, okay? Because you can see that if you have to do a Google search, go on YouTube and you look at people who have been prosecuted for selling organic milk, for example, raw milk. People who have, doctors who have practiced using herbs instead of medicines prescribed by pharmaceuticals. They have been prosecuted. They've been targeted. So there's going to be a time when that beast system takes full control and full power, that righteousness will be persecuted. But the Most High said he will preserve us. He will keep us. So let us hold on to that which is true, and let us reject everything else that is evil. So this just a little brief news, and if you have something to share on that, again, you have the number already, 605-475-2875, if you'd like to say something on that subject. All right. So let's talk about Passover. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12, and we'll pick it up at verses 18. So as we get ourselves closer to Pesach, Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, there are a lot of things that has to be done. And you don't, brothers and sisters, you don't want to wait 2 days before it starts, and then you're running around trying your best to get things done. It's going to be difficult, okay? Part of the process of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is to clean out your house and get things ready very early, and that minimizes the rush at the last minute. Same way that the Gentiles, the heathen, will count down the 12 days of Christmas or whatever it is, and they will actually start. They will start probably as soon as they get their tax return to open up a little Christmas bank account, Christmas club account, and start putting in their little dollars and whatnot until December, so they can buy and purchase expensive gifts. And if they can do that, what about us? So let's not wait. Let's be prepared for this. Now, I do have a question. I'll read that in a moment, but let's go straight into the scripture. Exodus chapter 12, and let's pick it up at verses 18 to 21.
In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even.
So our King, our Elohim, the Most High, said that again, there is a first month, and then you have to count from that point down until the 14th, and then we begin to have unleavened bread that same night. When the sun sets, when the the stars appear in the sky, there shouldn't be any leaven at all in our houses, in our dwelling places. So we begin to eat nothing, or everything has to be unleavened. Okay, so let's the comments. The leaven has to be removed from our home. Go ahead and read.
7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses.
You notice it says in your houses, okay? And there's a reason for that. Continue.
For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
So when we have our homes or houses, we should know how to govern our houses. And I know for some of you all, it may be there may be some difficulty there with that, because you may be living with others who are not in the same walk as you are, and they may even resist a little bit the idea of removing certain things. Maybe sharing a fridge with someone, and they may want to have their bagels and bottles of wine and whatnot in the refrigerator, and there's going to be a clash. Okay, so if you can have everything removed from your house, if you can't do that, at least for whatever reasons, and I'm not trying to find an excuse, but I'm simply understanding the condition that we're in. We are in diaspora. We're in captivity. And some of us probably just woke up maybe a week ago into this truth. Maybe a few months ago, and you're renting, sharing a house, or whatever the case may be, with certain people who do not believe the same thing. And for you all of a sudden to make some changes to the agreement of your living situation, you may run into some problems. So if you can't do that part, at least you can ask them to accommodate. Maybe if you have some extra funds, you can say, listen, I'll put the money up, whatever that we throw out, I'll buy it back again. You can try that. Okay. So if they don't agree to that, you can say, I tell you what, I'm going to keep my space, whatever area that is, my room, my bedroom, whatever it is, I'm going to try to keep that stuff off limits for that time. In other words, the point is that try to make an effort that the Most High can see your heart, okay, that you are in a prison and there isn't much you can really do but cry out to him. You have to show your heart to the Most High. You can't sit idly by and say, well, he understands. No, don't do that, Mishpachah. All right, try to make an effort to show the Most High your true intentions. Just like when you're in love, when a couple is in love and they don't have the money to meet up so they can talk or take a walk in the park or something, they will try to borrow a cell phone or send a letter or tell a friend. When you see, I'm going to use a name for example, fictional name, Tyrone. Tell Tyrone that I'm thinking about him. Right? Or, give me a name. Whatever. A sister, tell her that, I got those, that gift that you like or something. You do something a little more to show your affection. Okay, I think that many of us understand this. I think that we're still able to feel and have, understanding in that level. So please try to make the effort to show our King your heart desire is to serve him. Okay, so read it again. Whosoever.
Where we at?
Verses 19.
19.
Yeah.
For whosoever eateth that which is leaven, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
So when we have others under a roof and we have full control of our houses, we need to sit down with our guests that is staying with us and let them know these are the rules of the house. And you do so in kindness. You don't just walk in and say, hey, this is how we do things, and if you don't like it, you got to leave. No, that's an opportunity to teach and to show and explain and give the significance of why these things are so important. And when you explain it to them the right way, brothers and sisters, they'll actually join you because they will see a benefit, something that is good for them likewise, okay? So even the person who is a non-Hebrew that may be staying with you, passing through, or whatever it is, they must also be on the same page with you, okay? If a family member that is a Hebrew is traveling also, they must do it likewise, okay? So the Most High is not looking for excuses. He's looking for us to put this into practice, all right? Let's go to verses 20 and 21.
You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitation shall you eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel, and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
All right. So we remove the leaven from our homes. Everyone has to eat it. And also the lamb itself is part of the Passover process, okay? And we can also see that we talked about this last teaching, that even the apostles themselves continued with the feasts, okay? Now, of course, in the New Testament, it doesn't give us all the details, and we don't need all the details, because why do I need to explain details with something that is so common, in our day around us? It's like if someone, if I hear music going boom, 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 I know it's rap music. I don't have to say, what is that? And write a whole journal explaining what that is. I know what certain things are, and you know what it is. So I hear something, just keep it moving. So the New Testament doesn't go through all of the explaining things, but it mentions about the feasts, and you can see that the disciples kept the feasts also. Okay, we also looked at in the kingdom to come how the feasts will be there too. Okay, however, we recognize that as far as doing certain things for sin, because the Passover lamb was not for sin. It's a memorial, okay, that the Most High passed over and destroyed the enemy. It's two different things, okay? It's not, we're not saying, well, what people would say, well, why do you do the lamb? You're crucifying Christ afresh. No, it has nothing to do with that. First of all, that's a Christian doctrine. That's a Christian doctrine, and Christianity has skewed our own scrolls, okay? So they don't understand the whole understanding with the whole concept of Passover, the feast, and so forth. That's why they have made up these new feasts that they want us to follow, and that's why all of them across the board can see eye to eye. They may have slight differences, but it's the same family tree. The differences may be, well, you keep Saturday, the other one keeps Sunday. One believes in the pork, and the other may not believe in the pork, but the doctrines is pretty much the same across the board, okay? So now, let's continue on. Let's go to a little history. Oops. A little bit of the history. So, some researchers trace the origin of spring cleaning to the ancient Jewish practice of thoroughly cleansing the home in anticipation of the springtime memorial feast of Passover, Pesach. In remembrance of the Israelites' hasty flight from Egypt following their captivity there during the 7-day observance of the days of unleavened bread, which immediately follows the Passover. There are strict prohibitions against eating or drinking anything which may have been leavened or fermented with yeast. Exodus 12, 15, and 19. So, what this is, brothers and sisters, is that when you probably have heard the term spring cleaning before, and this is where that whole concept of spring cleaning came from our heritage, when we had a practice of going through our houses and removing everything, putting it outside, and beating the couch to death, and shaking the rugs, and because when you sit in your couch and you sit on in your house, crumbs and breadcrumbs and whatnot can get lodged in your seats and your carpet and different things. So you go through the house, and even though you normally clean your house, there might be some areas that you may miss. So we go through the house and we start to purge the house of anything that causes things to rise. And we're going to look at that, and we're going to go into that a little more so you'll have a better understanding, because I know for many of you all, this is the first time you're doing it, and there are a lot of products in your house that you may not be aware of that contains some type of fermentation or yeast, okay? So this is where it came from our people, cleaning the entire house and removing leaven. All right, let's move on. Jews are not only supposed to refrain from leavened foodstuffs, chametz, they are expressly commanded to rid their homes of even small remnants of chametz for the length of the holiday, Exodus 12 and 15. Therefore, observant Jews conducted a thorough, quote-unquote, spring cleaning of the house, followed by a traditional hunt for chametz crumbs by candlelight, called berikat chametz. Now, let me explain what this is talking about. This is a very important thing to bring to the forefront, okay? Let's go back for a second. Now, it says traditional hunt, but the traditional hunt actually has a much deeper meaning. Now, what it is that the father of the house will, as a tradition or a practice to instruct the children of the house, of the home, he would take crumbs from bread, and put it different places in the house and dim the lights, and he would take a candle, and he and the children will go throughout the house. They'll take a feather and a little dustpan or something, and they will go throughout the house and search for these breadcrumbs. And when they find it, they will scoop it up with the feather, and then they will burn the crumbs. They will take the candlelight and search. Now, what this means, let me explain what this means. This is a Hebrew concept that pertains to the lost tribes, the house of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the Father represents the Heavenly Father, and the Son, the children, to go out and search for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who is in darkness. Not in complete darkness, but the light is so dim that they can stumble. And to search the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the bread represents them, and to kind of like burn or to purge. So they go throughout the house, which is the world or the earth, and use the feather. The feather is symbolic of the angels that are going to gather the sons of Jacob. And that's the whole concept of this. Now, when you don't have the proper understanding, it will seem as simple traditions and legends and nonsense. But that is pretty much what this is all about. It's to teach our children the whole concept of seeking for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which the Christian church is not teaching at all. But in our Hebrew customs, this is part of the practice, to go through the house and to search, to teach the children the meaning of what they're doing. We are trying to find our own people. Okay, we're trying to find our people because the Most High wants to bring back the house of Israel. And the chametz, or the leaven that is found, needs to be removed from us. Okay, so let's move on. Now, before I read this part, let me look at this email from a sister that asked a question. I have a question about Passover. The Bible said to get rid of all leaven. I think that includes certain spices. I season my meat with sea salt, butter, onion, and garlic. Would I have to get rid of it? I do apologize for asking this question, but this is the first time I ever done the Passover. All right, so sister, the answer is no. You don't have to remove the sea salt, the butter, onion, and garlic. Those things do not cause anything to rise. That's not considered leaven. Okay, so yes, flavor your food with salt. Every sacrifice must be seasoned with salt. So salt is key with the operation in the house of Israel. Garlic and onion is very, very important too. As Hebrews, we need to have that flavor. We're a spicy people. Butter is very important too. So yes, these things can be utilized in your home. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Let me see if there are any questions out there. Okay. So if there's any other questions you may have, you probably can save it for later on. I'll open up the mics and give you all an opportunity to ask your question about Passover, preparation of it. Okay, so let's look at leavening agent, so we can get a better understanding of what we need to remove from our homes. A leavening agent, also known as a raising agent, is any one of a number of substances used in dough and batters that causes a foaming action that lightens and softens it by incorporating gas bubbles into it. The alternative or supplement to leavening agents is mechanical leavening, by which air is incorporated by mechanical means. Leavening agents can be synthetic, chemical compounds, or consist of biological agents. So anything that causes things to rise, like yeast, for example, or even baking soda, is considered a leavening agent. Baking powder. Baking powder. Okay. The gas produced is often carbon dioxide, but other gases such as hydrogen are also used. When a dough or batter is mixed, the starch and the flour mixes with the water in the dough to form a matrix, often supported further by proteins like gluten or polysaccharides like pentosands or xanthan gum. Xanthan gum, excuse me. Then gelatinize and sets the holes left by the gas bubbles remain. So the holes left by the gas bubbles remain after this thing expands. It sets because the gluten stretches, and then the thing sets, and then you have these little air pockets that remain. Okay, so again, yeast, anything that comes from yeast, like an extract of yeast, because you'd be surprised when you go through some of your food stuff. Even check the teas. You'll find even teas will have extracts of yeast, sometimes extracts of yeast in it. Potato chips, check it out too, because a lot of the potato chips are flavored with yeast extract. Okay. No, you can use eggs. You can take the egg white, and you can use that to lift your bread up a little bit. So eggs, you can use eggs. That's not a problem. Okay, it's not considered something that causes leaven. Okay, so that's totally different. So let's look at a few things. So any baked goods with baker's yeast, pizza dough, bread, and so forth, including most sourdough breads, even B vitamins, unless that they are not from yeast. So even vitamins, you got to look through at your vitamins and see if there's any yeast stuff in there, and remove it from your house. Now, let me back up just a little bit, brothers and sisters, because when we read Exodus chapter 12, let's go back for a second. It says in verses 19, 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. Now, some of you may go through your house with several boxes and find, wow, I have a lot of stuff in my house that has leaven in there, and it's a lot of money. You may have a liquor, okay? You may have wines. You may have all kind of bread stuff or whatever it is. Now, the bread stuff is not expensive to replace, but there may be vitamins, different things that may cost you some money. The Bible says it shouldn't be found in your houses. That's the key thing. Now, yeast is something that is naturally occurring in the atmosphere. In the old days, what they used to do, they used to take sugar water or whatever and put it on a sill with some flour or whatnot, a little bit of that, leave it out overnight on the windowsill. And yeast that occurs naturally in the atmosphere will go into this thing and create what you call, Paul uses a term, lump, a lump, okay? That lump is normally used to make more bread, other breads. You save that lump and you pass that lump on and on and on, like it's passed on. So you would take that, you save a part of that because it has basically active yeast in there, okay? And so you start making your bread, and then you save some of that, and even when you make your bread, you take part of that and put it aside, and you keep it activated. It's almost like keeping the fire burning. And so that's the old ways of doing things back in the old days. But in our time, we can go to the store, and there are more modern ways of storing yeast in dry format, and all it takes is just a little bit of water and sugar to activate it. And so this is what so this is something that happens naturally in the atmosphere, and you want to make sure that whatever products that you have inside of your house, what you can do if you can't afford to throw it out, is you can get some storage containers and put it in that things that wouldn't spoil, and put it outside of your house, okay, for that week. You can do that as long as it's not inside your house for that reason. Okay. So that's the only option that you would have other than throwing it out, giving it away to the heathen, or just move it out of your dwelling place, the place that you reside, where you lay your head. Take it out of there, and put it outside. Okay, don't move it into your car and drive around all week with the stuff in the trunk. Don't do that either. It has to be outside your home. Okay. So if you have a storage outside, you can put it out in the storage, because that's not the place that you sleep. Okay. Let's see what else here. Okay. So here's some examples on the screen. You have pizza, hamburgers, hot dog product, even hot dogs. You'd be surprised when you look at hot dogs. There is some leaven in the hot dog. So you may want to throw a party, whatever it is that you got to do, some days before, and just kind of use up all this stuff before the week of unleavened bread. Potato chips, different types of chips. Check those things out. Even nuts, when you go to buy your Planters, peanuts, or whatever, read the label. You'll find that some of the flavoring that's in the nuts itself, on the nuts, is covered with extract from yeast. Okay, your pita breads, different snacks, fried foods like fried chicken, whatever it is. You can make fried chicken at home, but you may use an egg batter instead of using any baking soda, baking powder, or anything like that. You can use like some flour and some egg wash, mix that together, and salt, season it, whatever, and you're good to go. Because I know a lot of some of the recipes for fried foods, people put a lot of bacon powder or soda or whatever in the batter to kind of make it fluff up and crunchier and things like that. Some of your soft drinks like Coca-Cola and whatnot, you may want to check it out too, because usually the coloring, that dark color and so forth, contains is extracted from yeast byproducts. Okay, pizzas and whatnot. So chocolates, pies, muffins, ketchup. These things are from fermentation. Now, let me explain why ketchup may be an issue. But as a matter of fact, let me ask this question. Does anyone know why ketchup would be an issue? Why would ketchup need to be removed from your dwelling place?
Vinegar.
I was hoping that the Mishpachah can answer that. It's because of the vinegar. So since you bring it out, go ahead and finish up. Why?
Because vinegar is something that you have to, it's fermented.
Mm-hmm.
So when you add it to the ketchup or the tomatoes, it causes it to ferment even more. So
right, vinegar is spoiled wine. That's what it is. It's just sour wine. And so therefore it is found in ketchups. It's found in different things, mustard and whatnot too. So these things have to be removed and placed on the outside in a cool place. Okay, if you have a cool place, shed or something outside, balcony or whatnot, put it out there for that time. Or just be wise about, you have plenty of time, so be wise about your shopping. Try your best to filter certain things out as you shop. Okay, so wine, foods that contain yeast. Let's just take another look again. Wine contains the fermentation of wine, and this is the reason why when the Most High said to us, there shall no leaven be found in all your dwelling places. You go to a Messianic congregation or Hebrew Israelite congregation, you'll find in most cases, almost all cases, they use fermented products at the table. Wine. They drink a lot of alcohol. They party like it's they party heavy. You know, you have I've seen tables with Jack Daniels on it. I mean, I don't even know why you want to drink stuff like that, because those things, to me, can start a car. If there's anything that you can't even taste it because you gotta chug it as fast as you can. It's not worth drinking at all. If your tongue, which is the first place of defense, cannot tolerate the heat from 140 something proof alcohol, what do you think about your stomach or your liver? All right? If you cough when you take a puff of smoke, what do you think about your lungs? Right? So it's not for us to intoxicate ourselves with these things, and it shouldn't be on the Passover table. A Messianic congregation would have the Manischewitz wine. You read the label, it says 5 or 10 or 11% or whatever it is percent of alcohol. Alcohol comes from what? Yeast. Something must be fermented to produce the alcohol. Okay? So you can't say that you be concerned about the fringes. Where's your beard? And all of those little nitpick stuff that you talk about. And then when you have Passover, high holy day, there's liquor all over your table. That's still breaking the Most High's commandments. Okay? Barley malt also has fermentation. Root beer, canned or bottled juices. You got to look into it, because certain bottled juices may have some alcohol in there of some kind. Okay, I don't mean, well, you got orange juice, throw it out, whatever it is, but you got to read the label and see if there's any alcohol at all in there. Ginger ale, for example, has what? The carbon from the soda. Okay, that should be removed also. Cider, citric acid, which this used to be made from citrus juice, but now it comes from fermented corn. It's amazing. So in the old days, citric acid used to come from lemons and oranges and whatnot, but now it's coming from fermented corn. So they ferment the corn, they use that and mass produce that thing and use that to cause things to rise. Okay, so these are the things, brothers and sisters, that you have to look at and to remove from your house. Okay, you may have spaghetti sauce. Check it out carefully, because the acid that's in it. Okay, some of the things that's in it, you got to be very, very careful. Vinegar that's in it needs to be removed from your houses. Let's look at cheeses. There are all kinds of different cheeses. Needs to be removed also. Certain cheeses must be removed because of what? Some of the yeast that is used in it to cause the cheese to spoil or curdle or whatever the case may be. Okay. Dried fruits such as apricots, figs, or raisins, those also have to be removed, because there's a certain spoilage. When the thing starts to break down, what happens, because the natural yeast that's occurring in the atmosphere falls on the sugars, is attracted to the sugars in these things. The sugars in the milk, the sugars in the fruits, those sugars, it goes into that and it uses that as food, and it turns that into alcohol or ferments it as it eats the sugars from these things. So there is a little bit of fermentation that happens when you start to dry certain fruits. Okay, there's also flavor enhancers such as the MSG. Okay, though it may also be yeast extract. You got to check that out. So certain flavor enhancers, as I mentioned before, on your peanuts and your chips and whatnot. Certain jams and jellies, if you don't make it yourself, okay, just a plain sugar, boil your fruit down and use it as such, more than likely the ones that you buy in the store may have some type of fermentation in the process. Okay, lactic acid. It's made from fermented corn or potatoes. So that thing that ferments again, you find the ingredients. This is lactic acid on there, and boom, you got to remove that from your cupboards, your home. Okay. So as you can see so far, brothers and sisters, this is one of the main reasons why the Most High wanted us to be separate from all the other nations, because it's not going to be a strange thing to see a whole set of people in one area practicing one or moving in one direction, one feast, one Torah. Everybody is doing the same thing. I'm cleaning my house, you're cleaning your house. My furniture's out on the lawn being cleaned or whatever, you're doing the same thing. When I look at you and you look at me, we see the same thing. We see each other in the same light. It's not strange, but you and I try to do these things in diaspora, and people are going to be turning their heads looking at you, and you're in a cult, or you having a you have a garage sale or something, because all your stuff is out. Sir, are you selling that? Can I buy that from you? So we seem as a strange people in the eyes. That's why the Bible says a peculiar nation, peculiar people, and peculiar can also denote strange in that sense, because we don't follow what the other people are doing. Now, if I'm out on my rooftop setting up my Christmas star and putting all the lights around the house, the neighbors is not going to look at me like I'm strange or something. As a matter of fact, they're going to be competing to see if they can outdo me with all the lights wrapped around my house. Is that correct? They're going to be a competition, right? But when we start to do the things that the Most High say to do, we will look like we are mad and strange. That's why he wanted us to be among our own selves in our own community. So when we do things, we don't seem strange to each other. Okay? Let's continue on. Certain foods that contains yeast. Mushrooms. Raisins. Aged meats. Like your salami, right? Your hard beef salami, wrapped in that plastic thing, just hanging there in your pantry, right? Black tea, malted barley flour, preserved or pickled foods, like your pickles, your what do you call it, olives, and those different things. I mean, there's as I'm saying this, it really makes you think. I got a lot of stuff that I got to use beforehand, and then I got to replace it with other things for that whole week. Okay, soy sauce, miso sauce, tamari, tempeh, vinegar, and foods containing vinegar such as olives, mustard, ketchup, and so forth. Yeast extract, autolyze, hydrolyze, yeast spreads such as Vegemite or Marmite and so forth. So all these things contain yeast. Why don't you speak in the mic?
I was saying, can we get olives that are not fermented to use?
Yeah, you can get olives that is not fermented. It's those that probably not sitting. Yeah, but usually you got to go to like a Whole Foods store to find just raw, just plain olives, maybe like in water or something like that. Probably you can find olives in a can of water, just like you have sardines in water and sardines in oil. So yes, there are places that you can buy. You can replace those things. And if you recently during that week, if you have bought certain things and you have your receipt and you realize that, hey, I shouldn't have this, you could always take it back to the store once it's not open and exchange it for something else, or just get your money back. Okay, so before me is a in your presence there are some links here that you can look at, and you can freeze this later on, freeze the screen and pull this information up. Just go online and look at a whole list of things that contains yeast. The third one on the screen here, Mogen David wine, is interesting that, again, remember I mentioned that even the so-called Jewish wines that is good for Passover, the process still contains alcohol or yeast. Okay, let's look at an example. So, Mogen David is one of my favorite wines that I use. I use the grape, Concord grape. I use the pomegranate one, and there's blackberry. Thank you. That I also use, and those are really good wines. It's not strong. It's not too sweet like the Manischewitz wine and whatnot. But let's look at this for a quick minute, okay? Now, as I said before, there are congregations that celebrate Passover using this particular brand of wine. Now, here's the problem. They are selling this wine. If you look on the screen towards the bottom left, it says Mogen David, okay? And if you look at the bottom, it says Concord, classic American wine, Concord. And then it says kosher for Passover, right at the bottom of the screen. 11% alcohol in there. It says kosher for Passover. Then you see the triangle K, which means that it's clean, that we can use it. Okay. Let's look at the company. There's a company that distributes this particular wine. It's called Barnivore. And I went and did some research, and I want to show you what it says. Let's go to the bottom. It says, quote, company email, first of all, September 2013. It says, we do not use animal products in our kosher wines. We employ standard winemaking practices and utilize common food grade winemaking. Let me zoom in so you can see it, because I can see that it's difficult for you to see. So let me zoom in right here. Okay, so you can see what I am trying to show you. All right, so if it's difficult for you to see, you probably can go to the website and check out this information for yourself. It says, look at this, because I have it highlighted. It says standard ingredients. It says grapes, and it says yeast. But then in the brackets it says, let me pull it up a little closer so you can see. It says standard ingredients, grapes, but then it says yeast. And what does it say? Removed. Removed. So how does that make sense? The thing was made using yeast, but then they removed the yeast. So how do they remove the yeast? Well, they have a process to do it. But here's the thing. If something originates with pork, for example, can you remove the pork after the pork started the process? After the pork made this thing? It's like you make a pizza, you have pepperoni in it, and then the pepperoni is removed. Or you make a salad dressing with crab juice in there, and then you remove the crab from the juice. So I'm showing you, brothers and sisters, that there's a difference between true Israel and a fake Israel. There's also a difference between following the commandments of the Most High and making merchandise of the Most High. It's a big difference. See, these people are there to make money, and they're selling a product. It's like a mind games. It's a bait and switch, a type of thing here. Okay. So you can see clearly that they have used chemical process to remove something that was there from the beginning. Brothers and sisters, this is just to show you that we must be a wise and understanding people. We must be wise. We must have the understanding. So for our brothers who are gathering with others who believe in having alcohol on their table for Passover, it's a no-no. We're not supposed to do it. If you're gathering with others like that, you explain to them, says, brother, sister, we can't use alcohol during this time of the week. We can have alcohol after the 7 days is over, okay? But other than that, we can't have this in our midst, because the Most High says no leaven must be found, okay? Yes, just because you don't see a big loaf of bread risen in front of you, it doesn't mean to say that the spirit of the leaven is not there. It's still there. Okay? The thing was made from this. It's part of the process, okay? So I hope that you gain some understanding. Let me go back. Blow it back up. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so let's see what else needs to be removed. Oh, absolutely. Another thing that needs to be removed from, can you get the scripture? Another thing that has to be removed from our houses is honey. Honey must be removed from our homes. Why is that? The honey, the process by which honey is made is fermented through the bees, the way that the bees process it. They have, the honey runs, the nectar from the flowers run through the body of the bees. And some of the enzymes that is processed and set when the liquid has been put together in these little cells called honeycomb cells. It is a certain fermentation that takes place. Okay, and therefore the honey has become fermented. Leviticus 2:11. Okay, let's pull that up. So therefore, brothers and sisters, it must be removed from. Let's go to that. Let me pull it up so you can see for your own self that I'm not making anything up. Let's see. Let's go right to the Torah. And let's go to let's go here. Leviticus. Oops. Okay, let's go to Leviticus 2:11. So you can see what the Bible has to say on this particular subject, okay? All right, so let's take a look. Leviticus 2:11. Go ahead and read.
No meat offering which you shall bring unto Yah shall be made with leaven.
Mm-hmm.
For you shall burn no leaven nor any honey in any offering of Yah made by fire.
Okay. So, in other words, the Most High is showing us that honey itself also contains leaven. It'll be strange for him to make a statement about no leaven should be found, and then there's no leaven in honey, but you want to throw honey out. So honey has leaven in it. Okay, so he says this should not be part of the process when we're talking about things leavened. Include honey. Okay, so honey has to be removed. Mishpachah. All right, so let's continue back. All right, so now let's move on a little bit. And let's look at some more things about Passover. All right. Now, do you all have any particular questions? Anyone has any questions about anything else in your neck of the woods before we move on with regards to what needs to be removed from your homes? Let me go up here and pull it up on the screen, the number again. Okay, so I'm going to give you all a moment before we move on. Any questions about spices or anything else you may have a question on? So when should the leaven be removed? Let's look at that. Leaven has to be removed, brothers and sisters. It shouldn't be found at all the day of the Passover is being eaten, okay? That's the night itself, that night part. When the sun sets, there shouldn't be any leaven at all in your house, at all. When the sun set, no leaven should be found in your houses.
So, Yana,
Yes, sis.
what about salad dressings?
In most cases, salad dressing has vinegar in it, so you may want to throw that out.
Okay.
Yeah, you might want to use that up. And what you can do is you can use lemon juice.
Okay.
Fresh lemon.
In my house,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't happening. It ain't. I tried that last year. I did Passover last year, and I could not remove nothing out of here last year. But I was working at the time, so I bought my own stuff. So I didn't touch any. I had all my belongings in my room. I couldn't take out bread. I couldn't take out nothing. It was a fight.
Yeah, I truly understand, sis, and all we can do is to pray for you and others like you in that situation. I know it's a very difficult thing to, as long as just the first house is the one, your body's the first house, and the second house is your dwelling place itself.
Okay.
So just make sure that you don't touch it, you don't come in contact with it, you just stay away from all that stuff, okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But that's a great question. You can use lemon juice to make your salad, just fresh lemon juice, because some of you buy those big old plastic things that looks like lemons with that old lemon juice in there. You don't want that. Buy some fresh lemons, and you can cut it and cold press olive oil. Put your little black pepper, your little sea salt, your garlic, shake that thing up, and you're good to go. All right?
I think I use olive oil because that's the only thing I use olive oil because I do not, what I'm saying, with the salad dressing, but I use olive oil.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of breaking up, but I understand. You said you use olive oil, right?
Yeah, olive oil.
Okay. I don't know why this is breaking up like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm breaking it. Okay, yeah, but that's what I use.
Okay, you may want to move around in that room. I did. It was still the same. So.
Okay. All right, you pretty much answer my question.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. So what we can do, brothers and sisters, is when you get down to like that final week, you may want to put like a list together of things you need to get rid of like ASAP. Start with the well, if you can put stuff outside of your house, like you got wines, you have certain cereals or whatever that can stay outside, you put that in a nice container, put it outside in a safe place, no problem. But if you can't do that, then try to eat it beforehand that week, or give it away, or whatever the case may be. Take it to your job and just let people use it. Put it in a refrigerator, let people use it, so it's not going to go to waste. But start working your way down, and then when you get to that final 2 days before, just do a diligent search again. Make sure that you have covered all your bases, okay? And by doing so, you can eliminate waste. All right. So keeping those things in a container out of your house, and when the 7 days has passed, then you can take those things and check it out, make sure nothing has been tampered with, and then you can use it. All right. Now, not everything can be on the outside of your house. You got to be very careful, because I don't want anyone to get food poisoning. All right. Certain things can stay outside. Dry goods can stay out. Okay. If the weather's still cool, you can leave your wine outside with no problem. Okay. Your ketchup can stay out with no problem, because the vinegar will preserve it. If you got a little bit of ketchup in your container in the house, you can throw that out. Okay, you don't need to keep for 7 days a little because you want to be cheapo. Okay, and keep a little bit of mustard or a little bit of ketchup. No, just throw that thing out. Okay, start fresh. All right, because I know some of our people, unfortunately, we want to hold on to every little bit, every little spoonful is an issue. So that's what you can do. All right. So let's see. Any more questions? Okay. What about?
Hi. Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Shalom, Brother Yana.
Shalom, sis.
Shalom. This is my first time calling in, and I'm a little bit nervous, but I've been listening and following your teaching, you and Sister Maisha, for a while, and it's been really edifying. And I'm just happy that y'all, he led me to you all. So with that being said, I just wanted to make mention that in my household, it's my husband and myself, and I'm a, true follower of y'all, but he's not there right now. And so I can relate. It resonated with me when I heard Sister Kina and her situation. And I'm just, I'm not sure how I would be able to, acknowledge it. I mean, I could acknowledge the Passover, but as far as practically keeping it, he loves ketchup, mustard, all of those sauces, ginger ale from Jamaica, and it's so many different foods. I enjoy them as well, but I'm just not sure how to tackle this because it's going to be a fight. Just like Sister Tina was saying.
Okay, so you have others in your dwelling place that is going to have all these different foods, correct?
My husband, yes.
Your husband, okay, your husband. Well, yeah. Okay. So if you don't cook certain things, that's going to be a problem, correct?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay, and he doesn't observe anything as far as the Hebrew way?
No, not at this time.
Does he go to church?
No.
He doesn't go to church.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so you don't eat any of it. You stay away from eating those things, and you continue to provide for your husband. Now, if there's a way you can do substitute stuff. Now, if you cook the food for him, prepare his meals and whatnot, and he doesn't know what you throw in there, whether it's black pepper or white pepper. If he doesn't know what's going in the pot, and you are preparing the meals, and all he cares about is to sit there and find food on his table, then that's what you do. You have to be wise. You prepare the food without those things as best as you can, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna have my Isha share some things with you. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. What I wanted to tell you is that like during those times you try, like my husband said, you try to prepare foods that doesn't contain some of those things. But if you can't do that, as long as you yourself do not consume it, you can probably prepare something for yourself on the side that doesn't contain these things. So, for that 7 days, you might do something for them, for your family, but for you, you do something on the side differently for yourself. So that way you don't have any kind of, trouble or animosity or anything like that, because our people, they're still in diaspora, they're still in darkness, and they don't understand. So we have to try our best to be very wise in what we do and how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, great. And also, I wanted to ask about, I heard a little bit about removing things to a different location. And so I was just wondering now with my refrigerator, the refrigerator that we have inside our garage, would it be, you know, or would it be appropriate to remove those things to that location, to the additional refrigeration that I have?
Well, ideally, it should be moved outside of your dwelling place. Outside. So the garage is still part of your dwelling place. However,
Yes, it is.
okay. So, how?
It's detached.
Tenía sucio dentro.
Yeah, okay.
Vamos ahí. Erika, ¿qué cosa tiene sucio dentro?
Okay.
¿Sufre?
I have some. There's someone that needs to mute. There's someone that needs to mute their line. Can you mute it, please?
Okay.
I'm not sure who it is. Not you, sis, who's speaking to me, but whoever just came on. I think someone just came on with their line wide open. Hold on, whoever it is. Just hang on one second. Let me finish up with the sister. So the important thing is for us to show our hearts willing to serve the Most High. That's the first thing. And everything that you do have to be with wisdom. So if your husband doesn't ask questions about the food, you prepare breakfast for him, you prepare lunch and dinner for him, then you can use substitutes. You can ease certain things out of your house, and you can bring other things in. He's not going to tell the difference because you're cooking for him. You can say, well, honey, I'm trying some new recipes and stuff like that. Hope you like the food and whatnot. And you are the one who's in charge. Now, he may like to make his own sandwiches or whatnot, you know, go into the fridge and get certain things. You can set something, you know, put your stuff on the outside if possible. You know, so you go outside and get your stuff, and you can leave stuff in the house for him. Let him deal with that stuff in the fridge. In other words, you separate your stuff from his stuff.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
Separated.
Because if you put his stuff in the garage, it's gonna send the wrong message to him. So you put your stuff in the garage. Now he's gonna probably ask, well, honey, why are you putting this stuff in the garage? Then you can speak to him in love. Says, honey, I'm trying my best to keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. And he asked me not to have certain things in my dwelling place for 7 days. I don't mind bringing these things back, but if it's not too much of a problem for you, can we try this for at least a week and see how it works? Can you work with me? There must be some level of connection. I don't, if you're living in a house that there's no reason at all, then it's like you're living with a cage animal in that sense. There should be some level of communication in your home that you can still converse to some degree and work things out. Okay, so try to find that area where you can work if it's possible. You dwell with your spouse according to wisdom if it's possible, but you don't make any demands. You ask. It says, husband, I like to do this, and you try to find a way because you know your husband. I don't, and you know how you were able to win him over because he's your husband. He didn't take a club and knock you over the head and grab you and pull you into the cave, did he?
Oh no, certainly not. But when we got married, he was, really, serious about going through with it because I got, kind of nervous right at the end and, froze and started to back out. And then he said, oh no, if you back out now, it's like, it won't be good. So let's just go through with this. And I thought about it and, I just went ahead and got married. And, we've been together now for 27 years. So, but, I'll work with it the best way that I can and just trust, the Most High and, look to his guidance and his wisdom in all these things because I know that this is a test. And rather than me just, deciding, well, okay, no, it's off the table. I can't do this. I won't be able to do it. It's not practical for my household. I'm just gonna, trust the Most High and see, what he does because I see him, changing some things, as far as my husband's attitude and his disposition anyway with my faith. And hopefully, Yah is going to, bring him around. But I'll certainly
keep those recommendations that you gave me this afternoon, and that's all I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Well,
Because I'm just flesh and blood, and I don't have, other than my faith in Yah and just, staying prayerful and just trusting Him. That's really all I can do at the end of the day, because He knows my heart. And if it was up to me, if I was, living alone, it would be no problem. But, we have a pantry, and he likes to go and look inside the pantry. And I'm just thinking, okay, if he doesn't see the cans of tomato sauce or the, other items that are there, cereals and things like that, he's going to, say, okay, well, what's going on? So I'm going to just do it the right way, and I'm going to talk to him and let him know this is, something, for this week. And I need your support, and that's pretty much how I'm gonna, go about that. But thank you so much.
mm-hmm.
And also pray to the Most High before you speak to Him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the Most High will put within you the right words to say.
Yes, for sure, sister. Yes, definitely.
Let's go real quick to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And let's go to verses. We'll read a little bit for the sister, verses 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. We'll pick it up at verses 13. So we totally understand your situation, and you're not alone. Sister Tina mentioned her situation also, and there are many others who are having some difficulty in that area. The Most High has given women a gift that can really win a man if you know how to be wise with the gifts that the Most High has given you. Okay, if you come to your husband as a man, meaning that you come firm and stern and whatnot, it's going to be as two goats butting heads, two rams butting heads. You're going to have a problem. So approach him. If you read, First Ezra, I think it's chapter 1 or 2, somewhere around there. It speaks about this challenge was put on the table: who has more power? And the one who answered wisely was mentioned about the woman, how the woman is able, how men go out and fight these wars and kill people and whatever it is,
and take the spoils
and bring it back to the woman.
Wives.
And as a matter of fact, even the king at the time, maybe we should bring that up. So after this, I'll read that for you, sis, so you can see for yourself this truth about how women has the power of persuasion if you know how to use your vessel wisely. And it's not for wickedness, it's just simply to win your husband, because a lot of times our spouses cannot see the way through the darkness, and you have to be the light. So let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Go ahead and read verses 13.
And the woman which have an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
And this is addressing the situation how our people were dispersed among the nations. You have these couples who live in a Roman system, and it's difficult to, you have a husband who he's thinking Greek or he's thinking Roman, and you are thinking as a Hebrew. You're returning back to the covenant, but your husband doesn't want to make a move, okay? But read on, verses 14.
And it says, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife.
So we have an example of Nabal and Abigail. Because of Abigail, wisdom, she was able to spare the whole house from David's wrath, okay? Now, Nabal died because he took it a step further. But many times our wise women have turned the wrath away from the Most High. Look at Moses and Zipporah, his wife. Moses, the angel of the Most High, was going to kill Moses even before Moses took Israel out of captivity. And the reason is because Moses failed to perform his Hebrew duties of circumcision, circumcising his children. And so the angel of the Most High was sent to kill Moses. And his wife saw this, and she stood into the gap, and she saved, protected her husband and her house by circumcising the children herself. Okay? So this is where Shaul was taking. He's taking these things that occur historically amongst our people, and bringing that to deal with situations with our people in diaspora. So continue on. For the unbelieving husband.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife,
Mm-hmm.
and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband.
Read.
Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy.
So if we're unclean, we'll be cut off. So we have to get ourselves up to par, and there's certain we have to stand in the gap in that sense. Okay, read verse 15.
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart.
Mm-hmm.
A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases,
Mm-hmm.
but ye have called us to peace.
Read.
For what knowest thou, O wife,
Mm-hmm.
whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?
When we think about saving our people, okay, whoever's on the call passing through the wind, can you please mute your phone? Or driving on the street. I'm getting a lot of wind noise. Okay, so those of you who think about salvation of our family, sometimes we think short term. Salvation is a process. It takes years sometimes to really save someone or to bring them into the truth of understanding this way. And it's no like you got to do it now or I'm gone, I'm leaving. No. As long as you're not being abused, that's what the book is trying to say. The letter is saying, as long as it's not a situation where your life is threatened and you can abide in that situation, you dwell with wisdom, okay? Because peradventure, something may occur along the line that can cause your spouse to awake from their dead state. Something could happen. Maybe an accident could happen, God forbid. Maybe a co-worker, maybe a friend, maybe the Most High will give them a dream that they will never forget. Something could occur that can cause them to awaken from their sleep. And then all of a sudden it'll come to you on, with tears and says, I'm sorry, I repent. I want to make this marriage right in the sight of the Most High. The Most High have ways of causing people to change. But you have to be part of that process by constantly going before the Most High on the behalf of your husband or your wife. And you can ask the Most High this very simple prayer: Abba, remove this situation or remove this person from my life. Either way. You can ask the Father to put that directive, say, remove this thing from this person's life. Or if this person will not change, remove this person and replace this person or replace this thing with righteousness. Either replace this person with a righteous person or replace that thing that is in this person that is unrighteous with righteousness. You must take a stand. You can't sit back and just say, well, I'll leave it to the Most High. You must do your part too. Okay? Now let's read verses 17 for the last.
But as Yah have distributed to every man, as Elohim have called everyone, so let him walk, and so ordain I in all the congregation.
So basically, he's trying to show us a way of handling situations in diaspora. Okay, outside of the Most High's authority in the land of Israel. Okay, because if you're operating wrong in the land of Israel, you had a court system, you had the Most High priest system that was set up to deal with disobedient husbands and disobedient wives and children and all those different things. We don't have a bet din, we don't have a court, a judicial system. So these letters were written how we should deal accordingly, okay? So I don't want to be too lengthy on this. Let's go real quick to Ezra's. And then I know there's some others who would like to chime in. I'll let you all come in. I'll try not to be too long again. The book of Ezra's, first Ezra's. And let me share with the sister how you can utilize those skills, because women have a lot of power if you know how to use it for righteousness. The Most High will honor you when you honor Him. That's First Ezra, chapter 4, and we'll pick it up at verses 13. Let me see if I want to start there. Okay, so let's start at verses 13. Let me pull it up on the screen. Just give me 1 second so everyone can see it. First Ezra, chapter 4. Okay, and we'll pick it up at verses 13.
Then the third who had spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel, and he began to speak. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or have the lordship over them? Are they not women?
Don't you see women have power over these men? And then he goes to explain how women have this power. Go ahead and read.
Women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land.
Now let's pause for a moment. If you study the history of the Catholic Church, you'll see that the power of the woman, Mary, for example, has been elevated to a godlike status. And according to the priests, they say that Jesus is depicted as a real tough person in dealing with people on this earth. And all Mary has to do is show her breast, the breast that Jesus drank from, and then that calms him down. And whatever Mary says on behalf of the peoples, Jesus will do. Okay? Now, what I'm telling you, you can look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. They're saying that the reason why we honor Mary is because Mary has more power over the Son, based on the fact that blessed is the womb that bear you, and all women will call you blessed and whatnot. So that is part of the practice. But they're showing something of a truth to a certain extent, that women do have a certain power. Okay? But let's continue on. Verse 16.
Women have borne the king and all, 16. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh. These also make garments for men.
So women make the garments, is that correct? Read.
These bring glory unto men.
And it makes the men look good when the clothing looks good, right? Read.
And without women cannot men be. Because all men are born of women, except, Eve.
Read on.
Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly things, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty?
So, even though a man gets all this stuff, don't a man love a woman who has a gentle spirit, a sweet spirit, and even when she's beautiful? That's what it's saying. So, comely in favor means that a woman has the ability to speak so softly that it just calms this man of a beast down to put him to sleep. Like Samson was calmed down by a woman. He rests his head in her lap, and she talked to him such sweet words. It wasn't just about her beauty. It's just about the way that she handles herself in her speech. Because there are some women who are not that attractive, but when they open their mouth, the words that they speak is so beautiful that any man will just quiet it down. Same thing with men. There are certain men that you will see walking with a beautiful woman, and these men are so ugly. boggly looking guys, right? Missing this and missing that. And there's a gentle spirit about these men that the woman will be attracted to that gentle spirit. Says, wow, the words, just the wisdom. And other women will be like, what are you doing with this guy? But when you get to know these people, you can see that calm and gentle spirit. That's what really can sway things a lot. So that is a tool that you can utilize in righteousness, okay? Because the same way that it can be used in unrighteousness, it's the same way it can be used in righteousness, okay? So let's continue on. Verse 19.
And letting all those things go, do they not gape and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her?
So men are easily attracted, okay?
Drooling
over the woman. Read.
And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold, or any goodly thing whatsoever?
So, men will go out and they will do whatever it is to get that gold and bring it right back to their wives, to the women, right? Read.
A man liveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife. He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country.
As soon as you get that attractive young lady, he forgets his whole family. Read on.
But this also he must know, that women have dominion over you. Do you not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
As I'm doing to this very day. Don't you labor and toil and bring everything and says, honey, here's everything. Yes, you can confess it to the worldwide audience. Verse 23, read.
Yea, a man taketh his sword.
Haven't I taken the sword?
And goeth his way to rob. No, not to rob. To rob and to steal. To sail upon the seas and upon rivers.
Read.
And looketh upon a lion, and goeth in the darkness. And when he have stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love.
So you have the gangsters. Even the gangsters themselves have a poo. Even the gangsters have a boo or poo or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Right?
My boo.
Boo or whatever. Read.
Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother.
Remember that movie with Pacino, whatever his name is, Scarface? He lost his mind over, a woman, right? It says, wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Read on.
Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Have done what?
Run out of their wits.
They have lost their mind over a woman. Read.
And become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women.
How many men have died in wars because they love their wives, they love their family, right? Read on.
And now, do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in power? Do not all regions fear to touch him? Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admirable Batacus, sitting at the right hand of the king. So
the king is so high up that all men fear him. But look at this concubine of his sitting right next to the throne of this king. A concubine right there, this attractive young lady, right? Read on verse 30.
And taking the crown from the king's head.
So no man will have the courage to walk up to the king, take his crown, and play around with the crown. But look at this woman all around this king, just playing around in his ears, pulling his beard, playing in his hair, and spinning his crown on his head and putting it on top of her head. Read.
And setting it upon her own head. She also struck the king with her left hand.
So she even slapped the king. Yo, you silly guy. And he looked at her and just looked at her beauty. Remember how wise or how, well, not cunning, but he's so persuaded by her that he forgets about the pain of the slap. He's not even embarrassed by it. Okay, he will do whatever that needs to be done. Look at John the Baptist losing his head because Herod lost his mind when he saw Salome dancing in front of him on a strip pole, right? Read on.
Also, when Esther presented herself to the king, her beauty made him stretch out the scepter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that didn't cause her death. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Read on, verse 31.
And yet, for all this, the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If she laughed upon him, he laughed also.
Mm-hmm.
But if she took any displeasure in him, the king was fain to flatter, that she might be reconciled to him again.
So if she says, "I don't like that. I don't like the way you talk to me. I don't like this," all of a sudden now he feels that he has to win her back, and he will do whatever it is to win his boo back. Okay, read on.
O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus?
Verse 33.
Then the king and the princes looked one upon another. So he began to speak of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He says, O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course.
Mm-hmm.
For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day.
All right, we can stop there. So the point of the matter is, for our sisters who are having issues at home, this is just an example to show that you can utilize skill in righteousness, not to subvert, try to bring your husband to pieces, to break him down to pieces or whatever it is. You're trying to win your husband into righteousness. Okay, so be wise and understand that the Most High has given you this type of power. Okay, from since the time of the earth. Look at Adam. Adam looked at his wife Eve and he took this thing and he ate it. Okay, it shows from the very beginning that women have a certain power. Whether it's good or bad, they do have a lot of power. Okay? So I don't want y'all women to go out and start doing wicked things with the advice that I'm giving you. If you're doing this, may the Most High have mercy upon you. But utilize what I'm sharing with you in righteousness to win your husband and win your home for salvation's sake. Okay? Yes.
I also want to say that little story that was given, it's really pointing towards wisdom, not necessarily just the woman, but the proverb says that wisdom is considered to be a she. She is more precious than rubies, okay? But it's considered as wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's telling you is, you use wisdom of the scriptures, not just your own, thoughts, but the wisdom that is written in the word, how to do things.
Absolutely. So I hope that helps a little bit, sis. I really hope so. Okay.
May I say something? May I say something there?
Sure, Elder.
Yes, I'm speaking to the sister on her behalf. If the sister live a holy life that is righteous unto the Lord, the good Lord will allow her life that she lives before her husband will cause her husband to turn to the Lord, and her husband will love her more. You see, these are something that you have to do with a pure heart, and the good Lord will give you the desire of your heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that, Elder. 100% correct. Okay. All right. Any other comments or any other questions? I know some of you all were on hold, so if you have any comments, you can speak, or any questions about Passover.
Hello, Pastor.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Hello,
understand. Go ahead with your...
Hello. You hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, my voice gonna be a little strained because I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from the Bay Islands of Honduras.
And I've been keeping up with you quite a while now, and I know you're a good pastor. You're speaking what I need to hear. We people here in the islands, we are completely lost of everything. We don't know nothing, man. We're blind, like the blind leading the blind. And my question to you is I need to ask you a few questions. Well, good night, Ed, of course. I need to know about the Passover. What kind of food do we eat on the Passover?
Okay, we will go into that shortly, the kind of foods. But let me tell you real quick. Basically, we have lamb for Passover. We have bitter herbs, and we have unleavened bread. That is the normal parts of the Passover meal. And you can have other things on the table, other foods. As long as the food does not contain anything that is leavened, you can have pretty much anything. You can have chicken. You can also have fish. You can have potatoes, those things. But the Most High wanted us to have three important parts of the Passover itself. And also we do have grape juice. We buy the grapes and we squeeze the grapes ourselves. So there's no fermentation, no spoilage, nothing staying for a long time. Now, real quick, you will find that amongst the converts, the Ashkenazim, the Jewish people, they have a concept amongst the rabbis that when you are making the bread, that the bread should not be, it should be made within a certain time period. It shouldn't be, the unleavened bread should be made within a time period, because if it stays too long, it will become fermented. Now, while they are protective of the bread itself, what about the wine? They don't consider the wine in that same light. So we make our breads fresh, and we also make our wine, you can call it wine or drink. The grapes is freshly squeezed and prepared that way. But you can have other things on the table. We also have the bitter herbs, which we'll go into shortly. And the significance of those things is part of the memorial for Pesach or Passover.
So do I have to have the lamb on the table?
Yes, the lamb should be on the table. It's a memorial. We must have the lamb on the table.
Okay. I'm in my house, in my yard. I have a couple, four, maybe 5 or 6, maybe about 8 trees where I make wine. I have a lot of wine in my house. Should I have to remove all the wine from my house?
As long as the liquid is fermented, yes, you need to remove it from your dwelling place and put it outside of your home.
It can stay right in the vicinity, or like in the backyard or something?
Yes. On the property is fine, because that's a different thing. But in the house itself, in your tent, your house, your dwelling place, where you put your head down, you shouldn't have that in your area. But if, as I said before, I don't know if you heard this, but if you live with someone else, you're sharing a home or something, and it's difficult to rid everything from your home, and you can separate one part of your home and make that place your sanctuary. If you dwell with a spouse and you have issue, you have to be wise about basically trying to keep yourself from being defiled with other things. That is the whole way that the Most High wants us to be. Okay, because we are in captivity, and we don't have a lot of room to wiggle room to move. Okay. So
yeah, I live with my wife. My wife she's Methodist, but I'm getting her coming over.
Mm-hmm.
I started to do the clean food, and we're doing the Shabbat. I'm breaking her, getting her in slowly. It's hard to turn. I mean, I was easier because I was a Christian, but after reading and learning the truth, I was easier to turn than her. It's a little while, I guess, to turn her over, but I can get her to break into the things that I really want to, that we need to do, And the unleavened bread. Can we get a baker to make the unleavened bread for us?
Well, it's something that you should be making yourself. As priest of your house, it's something that you should make yourself. It's not difficult to make it. Have you ever made pancakes before?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, just think about pancakes where, as a matter of fact, I'll let Maisha explain a little bit more about the process of preparing that. Hang on one second.
Yeah, it's a very simple thing to do. We normally use the barley flour because it's the season, for Passover is the barley harvest. But if you don't have barley and you just have regular flour, you just need to use the flour, and you put a little bit of olive oil, salt, and water. That's it. And you just make make it like a batter.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just, if you have like a flat cast iron pan or something, as long as you make sure both side of it is turns brown,
Mm-hmm.
And it's cooked. That's it. It's very, very easy to do. Sometimes, if you have the regular white flour, if that's all you have, and you need the dough, just make sure you don't put no leavening in it, but just the olive oil, some salt, and then the water,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just knead the dough, and you can roll it out. If you have a rolling pin, you just roll it out like you roll a roti or something, like you're doing a roti, and then do the same thing on the pan. Just brown it on both sides until it's cooked, and that's basically it. It's nothing fancy or anything like that.
Sometimes you can add to your. I'm speaking about the leavened bread for the week. The unleavened bread, for Passover itself should be as in the purest form, 100% pure. You shouldn't put in any types of seasoning other than salt. The one for the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread should also be pure. But on the table, as far as during the week and things like that, you can add, like some people add like garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of seasonings to it, and make it into, some people I know bake it like it's like a cracker.
Like a cracker, yeah.
Some people bake it as a cracker. That's fine. Or you can put it on the griddle and you cook it that way. The point is that make it however you feel comfortable to make it, but no leaven must be found in it. So if you like it rubbery, if you like it dry like a cracker, if you like it buttery or whatever it is, you can do that as long as the products that you're using has no leaven in it at all. Okay? That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Okay? So you may have like a tortilla or something, like a tortilla type. You can use corn, as you can make it into a tortilla style thing. That's fine too.
Okay. So the wine, I mean, usually in the island where I stay, we don't get wine like that unless it's fermented. So what should we do? Just
Can you get grapes?
I don't know how to say.
Do you have access to buying grapes?
Yeah, we can find some grapes.
Buy some grapes. You can put it in a blender and just blend it and strain it, and put that into your jug or bottle, and you use that for that week. Okay.
Okay. Well, according to the Bible, it say that the Sabbath they were starting on unleavened bread, which you do 7 days. It's a holy convocation, eh?
Mm-hmm. The first day and the last. The first day and the last day is a Shabbat. No work should be done on those two. So when you start on the 15th, for example, which is the Shabbat, that day is a holy day, no work whatsoever, and you go through your week where you can work and you can do things, but you mustn't have any leaven in your homes at all. And then the final day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is also a Shabbat too.
Okay, so in the island where we stay, we don't have no congregation like your church, your temple. Most of the stuff here is just we call Methodists and Baptists and Adventists and stuff like that. So my congregation would have to be probably at my house or something, because the other ones that we sing through them and you go to them is just like you're going to a Catholic church.
Yes, I'm familiar with that, brother. Believe you me. And that's the reason why the letters of Shaul and the letters that you read called the New Testament were specifically designed to reach the condition that we are in right now. Wherever we are, you notice that a lot of the brothers used to worship in houses, and if there was no synagogue, it was a house, and if they couldn't do so in a house, it was by the riverside. Okay, so that's the format in how we practice. We always try our best to keep the Shabbat, but if we're for whatever reasons we can't do it in those places, then we try to find a quiet place that we can keep Shabbat. Now, are you calling us from Honduras, or you are in the States?
No, I'm in the States right now, but I'm on the ship right now, but I'm getting off in a couple of days, and I'm going to Honduras just for the sole purpose of doing the feast,
Okay.
And that's the reason I'm trying to do it right, because then I have been going to the church on the day to do it, but then, like you said, they do it just by what do you call it, communion, and they never done it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
On the island there, we are completely lost. I mean, we don't even know anything about it. If you really, really, really read the Bible the way it is, it's they teach nothing like what's really in there on the islands, And we are lost, man. We need something like your place down there, or something close to that we can kind of bring us back towards the truth,
Well, just pray that the Most High provide the means necessary for us to accommodate our brothers and sisters in those places, because we have some brothers and sisters down in the Caribbean that are they're probably on right now listening, and they are part of the process of trying to help, and that's the reason why we are asking our brothers and sisters to try their best to support the ministry, because there's a lot of work to be done, and it's hard for one person to reach all those different places. But brother, do you have my email address?
No, I don't have it. I've been just watching your program on YouTube.
Okay.
Watching all of your programs mostly, but I don't have your email address.
Would you like to write it down now?
No, I just get one pen.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir. Oh, sorry. Hello?
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It is that's an A as in apple. Gulab.
Okay.
G as in gold.
Yeah.
So AGO as in orange, L as in lamb, A as in apple, and B as in boy. Number 7 at gmail.com. Okay. So read it back to me.
Yes, sir. A as in apple, GOLAB,
Yes.
77 at gmail.com.
Yeah. AGLO.
AG.
A Gulab. Yeah.
Yeah, it's AGOLAB
at 77 at Gmail. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
So send me an email, and I would see what we can do as far as your neck of the woods. Okay.
Okay. Next question I want to ask you: when do we really celebrate the Passover?
The Passover. When do we really when do we really celebrate the Passover? Is that the question?
Yeah, the day. I mean, I used to do Friday 14, the Friday the 14th on the Gregorian calendar.
No, that's wrong.
When do you, okay. What is the real date? Tuesday. I mean, Wednesday today.
I tell you what I will do, brother. Send me an email, and I will speak to you offline because your telephone is a little bad. But let me just share real quick. We begin Passover with the beginning of the year. The year starts with the end of this, which is shortly the year will be ending, and we're going to be looking out for the new moon. The new moon, which is the really tiny slither of the moon. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with the new moon. Once you see that, which will be shortly, then that is a sign that we start counting for the Passover, countdown to the Passover. Okay, so that when the moon shows the light in the sky, then we know the next day will be the first day of the month, the first month of the year. We start counting from that to the 14th, and then we have Passover that night. And normally, that same night that we have the Passover, you will find it very interesting. The moon shows very, very bright in the sky. It's basically a full moon. Okay, it's a full moon. The night of Passover is always a full moon, and it lets us know that the next day will be a Shabbat. So on the 14th will be a bright full moon, and then the next day in the morning when the sun rises, that is the 15th, that will be a Shabbat. Okay.
Okay.
So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna be a little confusing for me until I get it right.
okay, so the Gregorian calendar would be April 11th. April 11th on the Gregorian calendar. Okay, we still have to look for the moon, but it's going to be April 11th for the Passover that night,
Okay.
and April the 12th will be a Shabbat.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And what is your name, brother?
My name is Ricky Solomon.
Ricky Solomon.
Yeah, Solomon.
Okay, so you're halfway there. That's great, brother Solomon. Welcome and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So send me an email, and any other questions that you have, I can converse with you a little bit more. Okay, and also include your phone number, and we'll reach out to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling in, and you have a blessed night too. Okay.
And you too, bro.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, good night.
Good night, Ima.
Good night, Ma.
There's a scripture that talk about pure blood of the grape,
Give it to us.
and that's in beg your pardon.
Go ahead with it. Give it to
That
us.
is in Deuteronomy 32:14 talk about the pure blood of the grape.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Plus, we have
Hold on. Let me pull it up. Deuteronomy what now?
14.
22:14. 32:14. Okay.
No, 32.
Okay, great. Here we go. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 14. For our listening audience to know that we use the pure grape of the vine. Okay.
Pure blood of the grape.
Pure blood.
32, what verse is that again?
14.
14, okay, past it. Okay, go ahead and read it.
It says butter of kine and milk of sheep with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan and goats, with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape.
The pure blood of the grape, so it's not fermented. Okay.
And also let them know that the grapes have to have seed.
That is 100% correct. Did you all hear that, Mishpachah? If when we buy grapes or any food at all, we must be obedient to the commandment and use everything that has seed. Okay, so the grapes must be seeded, must have seed in the grapes. If it's not seeded, don't buy it. Find a place, because there are stores who still sell grapes. They're like the Globe style ones or farmers market. So go to those places. You'll find grapes with the seed. Ask the clerk, can you please get me some grapes with the seed? And they're gonna look at you funny, like, why are you asking for that? But it's because we live in strange times when things that have seed appears to be strange to people, because they're looking for things without seed. Okay. Anything else, Ima?
And also, if to have a juicer, it is best to pass it through the juicer and not to use the blender, because the blender, you have to put water in the blender. But if you have the juicer, you can pass it through the juicer and get all the pure juice from the grape.
Yeah, you can, but you can, but you still have to. Well, I guess you'll still have to strain it if you blend it. So yeah, the juicer will kind of strain it for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You have to put water to the grapes.
Okay.
So you want to get it just straight from the juicer instead of the blender. If they could help, do it like that. All right, thank you. That's all.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have a juicer and you use the blender, you don't have to put water in it, because if the juice it's very juicy, so when you blend it, all you have to do is strain it out, and if you have like a cheesecloth or something, you just squeeze it with your hand, and you'll get all the juice out of it.
Yeah, and we're not talking about one or two grapes. We're talking about,
right,
a good cluster of grapes.
Because that's how I do mine.
And I'll tell you this much: when you try that, you'll see that's the best drink that you've ever had in your entire life. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Pastor, let me ask you a last question. I read in the I don't remember exactly where it was, that if you are uncircumcised, you're not allowed to do the Passover?
That is correct. If you're uncircumcised, you're not supposed to participate in the Passover. However, the only exception we can find is that during the wilderness, there were many who were not circumcised. Okay, but Joshua made sure that they were circumcised when they before they can cross over. Unfortunately, those that were not circumcised, they end up dying in the wilderness. But it's a requirement that the males should be circumcised. Okay, so to our brothers out there who are not circumcised, I don't know how much it costs by the medical establishment, but I guess I can find that information out. But it depends on the different places. But you can go and have that taken care of, and you have enough time to get it done early enough to be ready for Passover. Okay? And it's not as painful as people say it is. Okay? So it's something that's a requirement.
Let me ask you one next question, though. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but in the New Testament, Paul says if your calling was uncircumcised, you shall seek not to get circumcised.
Well, that is a whole different class, brother. And there are other things that Paul speaks of that can confuse a person if you don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, because in most cases, what you have is you have an answer to a question, but you don't see the question. these are letters addressed to specific people that he was familiar with. The book of Colossians, or the letter, was written to those who live in Colossae. Romans, Galatians, the letter to those in Galatia, and so forth. So when you go into the book of Acts, you get a little taste of, a little understanding of the congregation he was dealing with, the people who reside over those congregations. He were given certain information. They had certain issues, problems amongst themselves. You have those who were returning Hebrews that were in the mindset of Gentiles mindset, dealing with Hebrews who were more in the Hebraic mindset, having issues with one another and things like that. The book of Acts chapter 6 talks about there's a dispute between the Grecians and the Hebrews, and most people believe that that is non-Hebrews, but that word Grecian is plainly says it's a Hellenized Jew. So it's someone who are from the southern kingdom of Israel, which is a Jew, that were Hellenized, or their mindset was like a Grecian. Whatever that they did was like a Grecian, but they were returning back to the covenant. And those who were already following the practices of Abraham and following the rules of the Torah, they didn't want anything to do with those people who were coming back. Their own, it's like a family member who has gone astray. You wrote them off. You want nothing to do with them. Now your cousins, your whole family, no one wants to deal with this ostracized family member. And so that's the reason why we need to be very careful when we read the New Testament, because a lot of people read Paul's writings and they get very, very confused on what he's saying. So what I can do is we can always have that subject about circumcision, okay? And we can bring that out, and you can get a full understanding on that subject. Yes.
I also want to mention that when you used to go to the churchianity, to the churches, if you're not baptized, you can't partake of their Lord's Supper. You see? So it's like your heart has to be right, or accept, they would say Jesus before you take of the Lord's Supper. Well, the same requirement the Most High is asking before you partake of the Passover. You have to be circumcised not just of the flesh, but also of the heart.
Okay.
Yeah, so circumcision has always, the way that the Most High wants circumcision to be practiced is it has to be something from the heart, first of all. I use this term to help to make sense. According to my analogy, I'll put it this way. Circumcision is also known as the ring around the ding-a-ling. Okay? Let me explain what I mean by that. Usually when a man is courting a woman, before he gives her that ring, he wants to know where her heart is. Once he knows that she loves him and she wants to spend the rest of her life with him, then she receives the ring. She wears that ring with pride. She's appreciative of the man who loves her, and she loves him, and she would wear that ring. When Abraham was circumcised, the Most High saw his heart first, and then the Most High, because when the Most High saw Abraham's heart, then the Most High asked him, or give him, that ordinance of circumcision. Okay, so it has always been according to the way Abraham lived, whereas Abraham accepted it because he was in love with his Elohim. Okay, and that is the way it should be. It always should be with your heart. Now, if you do something without your heart not being in it, no matter what it is, you're always going to rebel. There's always going to be a problem. Okay, so all right. I hope that makes.
I heard you say the word mishpika. What's mishpika?
Mishpaka means family, my family, or family in Hebrew.
Okay.
The word mishpaka, or you can say mishpakti, which is my family or family in Hebrew.
I got you.
Okay. So we'll take it slow with you, brother, because I know you're just waking up. There's a lot of things to learn, and we don't want to give too much food all at once. Okay. So we'll take it slow.
Okay, Pastor.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All praises.
Appreciate that.
Okay, brothers and sisters, I will open the lines up a little bit later, but let me go through the rest of this class. And then if there's anything that I miss or if there's any other questions, then we will have a little time remaining. So let's go through part of the Passover ceremony. Now, with Passover, as we talked about before, there are certain things that should be on the plate. Now, amongst the Jewish people, they have made a tradition out of this whole Passover, and there's something called the Seder plate. Okay, and let's take a look at this plate. The Seder plate, when you look at the plate, you'll notice it has an egg. You have a shank bone from the lamb with the marrow in there. You have some horseradish. You have some parsley. You have some sweets, which is honey, mixed with some chopped nuts and some apples. Okay, and you also have some other bitter herbs of different kinds on a plate. Now, this is what they present for Passover to represent the different things, which we'll look at in a moment. And that is wrong. If you notice on the screen, I got 2 X's. Then on the Christian side with Lord's Supper, they have real wine, alcohol wine. The Jewish side also have alcohol beverages. But on the Christian side, they have a bread, a big loaf of bread, okay, or some bread roll. The Bible says it has to be, no leaven must be in it. So on the Jewish side, it's wrong because, number one, you have a few things that is on there that the Bible never, the Most High never gave us, like an egg. Honey shouldn't be on the plate. They use honey on the plate. The bitter herbs is correct, but the shank bone is incorrect. We don't deal with that stuff. The Bible never told us to have a shank bone on our plate and to remember things based on that. That is incorrect, okay? So these are traditions that they have set up that is not according to the Torah. Christian side, they have a little roll on their plate. That roll is leavened. Then they have wine, real alcoholic beverage. So both sides is incorrect, okay? Let's take it a step further. So on the Seder plate, the karpas, which is normally green vegetable, like a parsley. The haroset, which is sweet fruit, supposed to symbolize the mortar. The paste is put into a paste to symbolize the mortar. The maror, which is symbolizes the bitterness of Egypt, which is they have a bitter herb or horseradish, but horseradish is not bitter. It's very, very strong. Those of you who have tried Chinese mustard before, it will hit the tongue and it will go to the back of your brain and burn every cell that you have in your brain and then come back to the front. That's how strong horseradish is. Hazaret, which is another bitter herb, which is like a romaine lettuce. Now, the romaine lettuce that is presented normally is considered bitter when it's an older lettuce. When the lettuce starts to mature and it's a little older, it becomes more bitter. Most of the lettuce that you have in the stores is not as old, so you don't taste that bitterness in it. If you go to the store right now and you try to find some romaine lettuce to put on your table, on your plate, it's not going to be bitter. But if you grow your own lettuce and you let it sit longer than the time, you'll see how bitter it is. We'll cover some of the herbs that we use, and what I recommend also. Zerah. We see Zerah also on the plate, the cedar plate, which is a shank bone. We don't deal with that stuff. Baitzah, which is an egg. also on the plate. We don't deal with that stuff. Now, the Zoroa, according to the traditions of the Jews in Europe, let's put it that way, Zoroa does not play an active role in the Seder, but serves as a visual reminder of the sacrifice that the Israelites offered immediately before leaving Egypt, and that the Jews continue to offer until the destruction of the temple. Now, basically, what the reasons why they put the egg on the plate is to remember that Jerusalem was destroyed, it was shattered. So the egg symbolized the temple, the Bait. That's why it's called Baitzah, or egg. The temple that was destroyed. So they use that to symbolize the temple that once was and now has been destroyed. Now, the Most High never give us the customs for us to practice having an egg on the plate to represent the temple being destroyed. Even though we remember the temple being destroyed, we don't put these things on our plate. We don't use a shank bone on our plate, okay, at all. Now, as far as the bitter herbs is concerned, we'll cover that in a moment. But let me show you one other thing here real quick. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was saying that Passover had nothing to do with the temple being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
It was about our people being delivered out of Egypt. That had nothing to do with temple being destroyed. So that should not be incorporated in the service of Passover.
Absolutely. Now, again, we're trying to sift out certain traditions that is not according to the Torah itself, and get rid of those things. As we are learning, we will have some people who would say, well, the things that we do is too much Jewish in that sense. You have to understand also, brothers and sisters, that the people who call themselves Jews today, the majority of them that call themselves Jews today that are not Jews, really, received the Torah and instructions from our people that resided both in the Holy Land and also in the captivity in Babylon. Okay, they received a lot of the scrolls that we had and was instructed and began to set up synagogues of learning, places of learning. So a lot of the things that they're bringing are correct, and some things are traditions. What we need to do is to sift through and see what we should practice and the things that we shouldn't practice according to the Torah. Okay, so I'm looking here on the screen of an example of a tradition of how things have transitioned from bad to worse. The cedar plate with the egg and all that nonsense, the meaning of it in that sense was incorrect, with the egg being the temple and all those different things. But now the meaning itself of the cedar plate, to remember our suffering and bondage in captivity, has changed. And let me share with you how the Passover Haggadah, or the service, have changed. Now, let me read just a little part of this. And in finding this this piece about Passover, the Sodomite society have taken over and changed the meaning of Passover to something totally different. And I'll give you an example. Let's see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. Life cycle is green spring. Okay, I'm trying to find it here. Okay, here we go. All right, on the cedar plate, and let me zoom in just a little bit. The cedar plate, this is something brand new. You notice that there's an orange right in the middle of the plate, an orange right next to the romaine lettuce. Okay. Now, according to this new setup, the orange symbolizing building Jewish community where women, queer, and transgender people, let me zoom in so you can see it, and transgender people are welcomed and recognized as full valued participants.
I don't think so.
So you can see how, and let me go to the olive. They said the olive symbolizing the self-determination of the Palestinian people and the invitation to Jewish communities to become allies to Palestinian liberation struggles. Brothers and sisters, let me read this other piece. This is very interesting. The matzah. Matzah is the bread, right? As our ancestors were fleeing Mitzrayim, that's Egypt, they did not have enough time to let the bread dough rise. They carried the unfinished dough on their backs, and the hot sun baked it into hard, flat matzah for 8 days of Passover. We eat no leavened chametz of any kind in memory of their hasty flight. So you have all these different interpretations that are blurring the truth or causing a lot of confusion. This is why we have to do things correctly, okay? And this is why we have to separate ourselves from foolishness and come into understanding of the truth. So let's talk about the right way to do things, okay?
First of all, the sun didn't bake nothing on their backs.
And besides, they are not able to stay in the sun at all. Okay, unleavened bread. So unleavened bread, my wife talked about it, my Isha, which means wife, mentioned about the unleavened bread. This is what it should consist of. This is your checklist. We use barley. Why do we use barley? Barley, when you read the book of Exodus, you'll see when the Most High destroyed Egypt, the wheat was not grown at all. The only grain that was available during that time of the year, in the spring, the early part of the spring, is the barley. So we don't use wheat. We use barley for that week. Okay? Now, there are cases where we can't find barley whatsoever, then you use the wheat. But the correct way is to use barley. You have the scripture for that?
Exodus 9.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 9.
31 to 33.
And let's take a look. Exodus chapter 9. And let's get it so we can get the proper understanding, okay? Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. Exodus 9. And what verse?
31
All
to
right.
33.
So let's go to 31.
Well, 32. 31 and 32 is fine.
Okay, let's go right down to 31. Okay, here we go, brothers and sisters. All right, go ahead and read.
Okay, 31 says, and the flax and the barley was not smitten.
Read it again.
And the flax and the barley was not smitten.
It says was not smitten.
I'm sorry, was smitten. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Read it again, because I think
and the flax and the barley was smitten. I'm sorry.
The flax and the barley was smitten.
Was
Read.
smitten. For the barley was in the air, and the flax was bold.
Okay, read up.
But the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up.
So let me read it again. And the flax and the barley, when the Most High destroyed Egypt. And just to remind our brothers and sisters, those that are listening, please mute your call because there's a little bit of interference. The Bible says when the Most High destroyed Egypt, the flax and the barley was grown up, and so that was destroyed by the ice, the hail, and fire and all that stuff. It destroyed all of that, okay? Because the barley was in the air. In other words, it was a grain. Okay, there was a grain that was to be harvested, so the Most High destroyed the crops of Egypt. However, the wheat was not grown at all, and the rye was not smitten because that produces the fruit or the grain in the summer. That's right. Okay, so it was the springtime that barley was available, but the wheat was not grown as yet. Okay. So this is the reason why, brothers and sisters, and we will go over these things a little bit later because there's a lot of information we're putting out, and there are different levels of learning right now. You have certain people, brothers and sisters, who are new, and those who are more been here longer, and so we got to go over this again so you have the understanding. But we use barley, we use salt, we use water, and we also use oil. These are the four ingredients that we use to make the flatbread or the unleavened bread, okay? Let's continue on. Let's go to the bitter herbs. While bitterness is often perceived as unpleasant, the interaction between bitter constitutes in foods and our bitter taste receptors stimulate the production of gastric acid in the stomach. This helps prime the stomach for the food it is about to encounter. Bitter foods and herbs help to stimulate digestive juices and support food digestion, says professional dietitian Nicole Dubé of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Okay, so we asked this question when the Most High gave us the instructions to use a lamb and use the bitter herbs and use unleavened bread. Why did he give us those things in particular, right? Now, of course, it symbolized the lamb covers the part with the lamb, that the blood that is used, and the lamb represents the redemption of the house of Israel. The bitter herbs, of course, represents the hardship that we had in there. The bread also pertains to ourselves being broken and whatnot in that captivity. Okay, and also the unleavened, because we didn't have time, we had to leave in haste and those things. All of that is true, but there's also another component. On the other side to that, having no leaven in our bodies also is another healthy reason the Most High wanted to purge out certain things from us physically before we start our new beginning in the wilderness to receive instruction. Okay, so we have the removal of anything that will cause our bodies to be polluted, the leaven, but also the bitter herbs helps in that purging process to clean ourselves out. Okay, now when we eat the lamb itself, the lamb is broken down likewise because you're eating lamb all night. But the lamb is also broken down by the bitter herbs that we eat. Because you know, some people will have an issue with eating a lot of meat per se, because the meat tends to digest a little bit longer, takes a little while to digest. But when you utilize these bitter herbs, it helps to break the meat down in our bodies also. Okay, now some of the bitter herbs that we use, let me continue on. So bitter foods help stimulate our taste receptors on the tongue, which subsequently stimulates enzyme production and bile flow. The better your food is digested, the more nutrients you will absorb from your food. It doesn't matter what you eat. If you can't absorb it, it won't be of much benefit to you. Dubé often recommends eating a dandelion salad for people with digestive problems. Okay, so part of the bitter herbs that we utilize, brothers and sisters, is there's a bitter squash. It's called Indian cucumber, and there's also the Chinese type. Okay, but we can utilize the bitter squash. It's very, very bitter, but it's very good for your body. Now, you would only use just a small portion of that in your salad, in your bitter herbs. You can use dandelion leaves. The same dandelion that you see growing all over the parks that people try to kill, those things are very healthy for you. What they call weeds is actually a very healthy food. Okay? Now, I wouldn't recommend you going in your front yard and picking a dandelion and use it in your salad. But if you have it grown in your backyard in a secure place, you probably can do that. The reason is because your front yard may be exposed to creatures who like to leave their urine everywhere. Okay? So you can't utilize that. But you can buy dandelion from your farmer's market, from your stores or whatever, your grocery stores. Kale is also utilized as a bitter herb. Or romaine lettuce, if it's a much older romaine lettuce. It's much darker green, usually are very bitter. So any herbs that you can find that is bitter, okay? In most cases, we're talking about herbs that normally grow within the region that our people came from, the Mediterranean, okay? But if not, parsley, But parsley is not always that bitter. But any herbs that you can find that is bitter, we put that on the table as part of the Passover meal.
Basil has a stingy taste to it too. The basil,
Mm-hmm.
basil, whatever, basil leaf.
So the Most High was very genius in what he was doing. Not only was he breaking us away from the pollution of Egypt, but he was also purging us before we start our journey to receive the Torah. Delivering us with the lamb, cleaning us from the leaven, and purging us with the herbs. All of these things help prepare us for our new beginning. Okay? So let's look at the basic list again. Kale, nettles, dill, sesame, dandelion, horseradish is also used. Watercress, parsley, radish, milk thistle, aloe, gentian, cilantro, golden seal, arugula, bitter melon, and gourd, Japanese eggplant, turmeric, fenugreek seeds. These are all bitter things that we can use. Leafy greens, barley greens, basil, hikama, jicama, spelled J-I, but it's a Spanish, the J is normally not, lettuce, chamomile, and so forth. So these are all bitter herbs that can be used for Passover. Again, for the wine, we use organic grapes. Okay, everything that we use, brothers and sisters, we try our best to stay away from the GMO type stuff. We want to use things that are organic, and it must have seed. The book of Genesis, chapter 1. Can you get that for us real quick so we can share with our brothers and sisters? Genesis chapter 1. And let's take a look at what the book says. And this is from the Most High, his original plan for us. Okay? So Genesis chapter 1. And let's get down to the foods. Okay. Let's go to 20. Let's go to 20. Let's read 29. That's fine.
29. And Yah said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed.
I've given you the herbs or the foods that has seed. Read.
Which is upon the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed.
Every tree that bears a fruit must produce a seed. Mm-hmm. Read.
To you it shall be for meat.
So when we're talking about the herbs, it has to have seed, something that comes from seed and produces seed. When we're talking about the fruit trees, it must have seed. In our day and age, things have changed to things not producing any seed at all. Watermelons with some really deficient seed, that you can't take those seeds, what you call seed or what looks like a seed in a watermelon, the little tiny white stuff, you can't plant those things. So we can't use those things. And this is also prophetic because it is a long-term truth that the Most High wants us to glean from this. We may think that there's nothing wrong in eating these things because we see it fills our bellies up, and it's sweet, but these things causes cancer and also shorten the days of our lives. So the Most High is genius in what he instructed us to do. Okay, so let's continue. Let's go back and let us continue. Also, the lamb that we are going to use. Now, obviously, many of us can't go out and buy a whole lamb because there's only one person in the house. So you get some lamb. You don't need to get a whole lamb either. But let me recommend what you should buy. If you are living in a place that have either, and these are the two options, either a Jewish place that you can buy lamb from or a Islamic place that you can buy a lamb from, that's probably the first two places that I would recommend because of the way that it is killed. Okay. Now, there are some more details behind that, but for the most part, that's the best in this captivity that we can do, because at least there's a process of draining the blood from the animal almost completely, okay, to the point where the animal has nothing in there that you can visually see. All right. And also, as far as the Jewish part is concerned, there's a little tricky spot to that too, because a lot of the Jewish people do not kill the animal. They drain the blood, but the animal is traumatized to a large degree. The Islamic way, they tend not to do the trauma to the animal. And the reason why I'm saying this is because now I have to do a class on these things, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to show you video that you can see for a fact what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're eating half the time. The animal is traumatized. Sometimes the animal suffers before it dies, right? Loses its life. And all of that, what do you call it? Hormones that's in the animal is released through fear throughout the whole animal, and it defiles the animal. And when you eat this, the hormones stay in the animal and causes damage to our bodies. So the Most High has a way that you're not going to find in the Torah. That's why I always say we need to read outside of the box sometimes to gain better understanding. Okay? The animal has to be laid down. It has to be calm. Rest itself where there's no fear in the animal, and then you take the animal's life. You speak the words to the Most High and thank the Most High for this animal, and you pray and you take the life of the animal, and then the animal it dies, and it's a quick cut, and when you cut it, you remove the blood from the body, and it's the animal is fine. There's a little bit more to that, but I don't have time to go through because the hour is late. But you want a lamb that is organic. You want a lamb that is probably from these two places. Now, if you can't find a halal store, halal is the Islamic, kosher is the Jewish. Okay, if you can't find any or these, then farmers market. You can find. Usually at the farmers market, they have halal spots. You can go in there and ask them if they have any halal meat, and they will provide that for you. Okay. If you know a butcher, you can talk to the butcher, and you can develop a relationship and purchase your, couple pounds of meat or whatever for that occasion. All right. So that is the best option. Now, there is a passage in the book of, I think it's Acts or one of those places where it says about questioning that which is in the shambles. Remember that? Shambles, or in the marketplace, and that connects to that passage because remember, you're talking about a time when the disciples were going out to Israelites who lived among the heathen, and there were certain marketplaces and different environments that we were scratching our heads. Where am I going to be able to do this thing? Because I'm returning back to Israel. I'm returning back to the ways of the Most High. And so there were a lot of concerns, and they had to address these things. My marriage, I'm returning back to the Most High, but my marriage, I'm already married. My husband or my wife is not on the same page. All of these things were questions put on the table to the shepherds or the fishermen of Israel, going out to fish and to hunt for Israelites. And they had to address these situations which we are living to this very day. How do we deal with all these situations? And that's the reason why you have these letters talking about circumcision, talking about marriage, talking about meats, and all these different things, living in captivity. Okay, so do you have it? Shambles. Okay. All right. So again, the bitterness was there for a reason. The Most High was not trying to, just send a message about, the bitterness of the captivity, but let's look at this a little closer, okay? Now, when you eat a lot of leaven, remember yeast builds itself, it feeds itself on sugars. When you eat a lot of pancakes and donuts and all these things, you find that your stomach expands a whole lot. The more sugar that comes in your body, the more your stomach expands to make room for those foods. There's a reason why the Most High says no leaven at all. And also use the bitterness. Let's look at this truth, okay? There's something called candida. Candida. So let me go down here and show you a little bit of very important piece of information behind the scenes. The gut has a very delicate balance of microorganisms within it, including helpful bacteria and yeast. Candida is one such yeast. And in healthy digestive system, it naturally lives in the large intestine, and has positive benefits for the body. However, problems arise when we upset the balance. The healthy bacteria must be in balance with the yeast, okay? It must be in balance with the yeast. So when we eat the bitter stuff, it helps to cut down on the yeast that builds up in our stomachs. Other dietary guidelines, listen to this carefully. Bitter foods can be used by those with excess, which is overweight, hot, have mucus, and so forth. Bitter foods reduce mucus in the body and draws away excess toxins, both of which Candida thrives in. Bitter foods include bitter gourds, endive lettuce, bitter herbs, and so forth. These things kill the yeast. Bitter foods should only be used in small amounts. That's why we have a small amount on our plates. By those that are underweight because of their strong reducing and detoxifying qualities. So the Most High was purging us before we got into the wilderness. And everything that he was doing has a purpose and a reason. Okay? Let me go a little bit further. I just bear with me. Let me finish this up. Okay? Let me get this out the way. So we have things such as Swedish bitters and whatnot. And when you take these things, it takes out the yeast, the flora, the yeast from our systems. It cleans our liver. It helps our immune systems. It strengthens us. It strengthens us as we make this walk to Zion. So every year the Most High puts us through this process of cleansing us, purging all the leaven from our house, physical house and our physical bodies. On the micro level, he also is purging all these things out from our guts and getting us ready to begin the year anew. All of these things, brothers and sisters, has a purpose and a reason. Now, Maisha says she found us the verse in the Bible. Where is that? 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians and 10. Let's go there real quick. Okay, 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians 10. Let's go right to it. And verses 25. Okay. Yes. Okay. So it says, read.
Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Okay, so it's like when you go to the marketplace, you don't know, it's a kosher, it's a clean animal, a cow that the Most High recommends. It's not pork, but you don't know how the butcher killed this animal, so you are troubled by this thing. It bothers you, like, okay, should I buy it or should I not buy it? I got to do this requirement. I don't know. So he's saying, listen, for conscience sake, just do what you have to do and just keep it moving. Okay? If you get tied up in a lot of technicalities, you're going to fall short. And the reason for that is because we're not in our own land and we're not living by the precepts of Israel. Okay? So that's going to be another class. I just want to share that little piece for this moment, and let's keep it moving, okay? Let us keep it moving. So let me try to get some other things on the issue of preparation. Let me see. Okay, so again, we're talking about cleaning ourselves inside and out, not just the foods on the table, but we also must make ourselves clean before the Most High. Let's go over to the Bible. 1 Corinthians 5, and we're going to read verses 1 to 3. Now, we're going to be a little over the time, but let me go through this because these things are also important, because I've been to congregations where people don't talk to each other. They come, they keep the feast as a tradition, they go home, and they don't talk to people. They have no relationship with each other. They won't talk to you all year. They will text you, but they won't talk to you. So that's a huge problem, and we're not to behave ourselves like that, okay? 1 Corinthians 5, we got to get rid of all those poisons and things that defile ourselves on a spiritual level out of us. Read verses 1 to 3.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife.
So now, amongst the brethren in Corinth, it was reported commonly. So it was a regular occurrence among our people. And if you notice carefully, it says not even among the Goyim, the non-Hebrews. They don't even practice these things, right? Verses 2.
And you are puffed up and have not rather mourned, that he that have done this deed might be taken away from among you.
So being puffed up is being leavened. Mourning is the bitterness of purging ourselves out. So there's no leaven or things to defile our spirit in us anymore. Okay, read.
For I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged already.
So he's saying that the Torah, which is spiritual, have brought this to my attention that I can judge this situation. Read.
As though I were present concerning him that have so done this deed.
Okay. Continue on, verses 4 to verses 6.
In the name of our Mashiach Yeshua, when you are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Mashiach Yeshua.
Sorry. Go ahead.
To deliver such an one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of Yeshua.
So he's saying that, listen, if you have the people or brothers and sisters that have reached to that point where they're that far gone, we're going to turn them over to the adversary. So with the adversary being on their necks, it's going to give them some crisis in their life so that they can have room to repent, okay, to save them. So I'm not asking the Most High to send an adversary because I hate my brother. I'm asking the Most High to send an adversary because that's the only way I can reach my brother. Because talking to our brothers and sisters, sometimes we don't get anywhere. But unless some enemy come in the camp and harass them and give them problems, then it causes them to awake, if possible. Verses 6.
Your glorying is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? So
now he's using he's looking at the everyday life of a house, how the process of making bread, how we go from yeast and mixtures on the windowsill to create this lump to be used to make the bread. And now he's using this to teach this precept how ourselves can likewise be exposed to all the elements out in the world, and now we're puffed up and we have attitudes and we have problems in the congregation. Okay, so what does it say, verses 7?
It says to purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump.
So you got two lumps. You have one that has been polluted by everything. This lump has been around so long. It has picked up every type of yeast out there and whatnot. Cut that out. Let's start fresh. Get rid of the old junk. Let's reset the button and let's start fresh. Go ahead.
As you are unleavened, for even Yeshua, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
So when you reset the button, you become unleavened, and after being purified, the bitter herbs, all these things on the physical level, but also on the spiritual level, removing all this animosity within our spiritual system, we get rid of this stuff. Now we're going to be ready to become a new lump. That is why we begin with Passover, the purge. That's the first feast of during the time of the spring of the year. There are three main seasons: the spring, the summer, and also the fall. So you got Passover, where you're purged. And then you come to Shavuot or Pentecost, which is the middle or in the summer. That part of that is where you have a lot of bread. You must have bread with leaven. Okay, so all that is a new lump. And then you come over to the end of the year where you have tabernacles and all those other feasts, right? All right, so we can see how he's using many different precepts, putting them together to teach about our spiritual values. Let's go to verses 8 to verses 9.
It says, therefore, let us keep the feast.
So Shaul was saying, the feast of Passover, we must do what?
Keep it.
Keep it. Read.
Not with all leaven.
So if we come into the feast, our spirit have to be right. Not with the old animosities. Read.
But neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
So when we come to gather, brothers and sisters, we're not gathering just to meet each other for the first time, but we come together in love. There shouldn't be a congregation of people coming together and you really don't want to shake a person's hand, greet them, and all those different things. You got to get those things out of the way first, okay? That's what caused our people to die in the wilderness. They had a lot of bitterness within themselves, okay? Or evil within themselves. Verses 9.
I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators.
So a company with a fornicator is equivalent to a person who is not circumcised. A fornicator has to do with something sexually, right? Circumcision has to do with something sexually, right? A part of the body that is utilized as a sexual organ, right? Reproduction, right? So he's drawing from all these different things to teach us the concept. At Passover, you must be circumcised to gather together. On a spiritual level, your heart must be circumcised before you come together. You can't come to the table and you got all this wickedness within you. It's like you still have flesh on you, on your heart. The flesh has to be removed to gather together. Okay? That is a wall between me and my maker. If my maker is my husband and he requires circumcision as being part of the process, as a bride, which is Israel, we are the bride, this is a requirement that his bride be in this format, in this light. Okay? Let's move on. Verses 10.
Yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous or extortioners, or with idolaters. For then must you needs go out of the world.
So he's taking it a step further and saying, listen, I'm not really talking about just the gathering. I'm not saying that you shouldn't interact with people who are in sin. He says, those of us who claim the truth should not be in sin. But it is our mission, okay, purpose to reach our brothers and sisters who are still outside of the truth. Okay, you can still talk to them and reason with them, so long as they don't know the truth. But if you know the truth and you're living in sin, you are as an uncircumcised person. Okay, so it is important for us to reach the lost sheep of Israel, bring them back to the truth. We must use wisdom. All right. Let's continue on. Was that it? Okay.
Verse 11.
You can leave that. So let me go over this real quick. So what he's trying to say basically is, again, the lost sheep of Israel being scattered and lost all over the place in the different forms of religions or whatever it is, we still account them as not knowing the truth. Therefore, we can sit with them and we can break bread and we can talk to them. But those of you who know the truth, you must walk in righteousness. Okay? Now you wanted to read 11.
Just finish it up because it's important.
Now you can go to 11. I'm ready for 11. Go ahead.
It says, "But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one not to eat."
Again, same thing that I just said. He's saying these people are only there just to make it into a tradition. They're there just to say, well, I'm a Hebrew. Let's have a meal. Let's do this. No, it's not about. You see, when we come to the feast with our hearts not right, it becomes a tradition. It becomes something to do. Then we end up having the queer. We have all this kind of nonsense. It becomes something else. Okay? But this is very serious business. We don't play around with the Most High's feast. Let's take verses 12.
"For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not you judge them that are within?
That's correct.
But them that are without God judgeth. Therefore, put away from among yourselves that wicked person."
So he's using the whole Passover festivity, the requirements. The lamb on the table represents the Messiah also of what he has done to deliver Israel. His death also was for the two houses of Israel that need to be redeemed. That's part of the process. It's not the complete process, but it's part of it. Okay? Also the bitterness, the herbs, the bread, all these things are very, very important on one level. But he's using these things to teach us where the true process begins, right here in the heart. Everything that you see on the table is not just on the physical, it's also on the spirit. We got to put the leaven away from ourselves and also the people that we interact with. We got to be very careful. Okay? Yes.
If you notice in verse 11, it talk about drunkenness. But yet at the Passover, you have some of our brothers have a lot of alcohol, drinking at the Passover.
That is very
and
true.
Paul, said here specifically, do not eat with anyone who's been drunkard.
And, as you bring that up, I remember how there are a lot of brothers, Hebrews, who are going to be celebrating Passover soon. And they already have their list of liquor and whatnot. And these same brothers will be cursing, using profane language. And just imagine that when they're saying that they're using profanity, right? Just imagine when their guards is lowered with alcohol. Just imagine that. How can you say that you are coming to the truth? Your table has alcohol, which is wrong, number one. And then it's not just low levels of alcohol, it's high levels of alcohol. You haven't removed from your life as a Hebrew all of this profanity, and then you want to come at a high holy feast, be consecrated before the Most High, as if, do you think Yeshua will come to a feast drunk and swearing, using swear words, and then ask the Father for to bless his table and whatnot, and to curse out Pharaoh and say, well, Pharaoh's a son of a so and so, and Pharaoh's this and that? Do you think that Yeshua would use that kind of language at the table? But this is what is to be expected from a lot of our brothers, who would point fingers and say, well, you need to be over here, or this one way is that way, and all of them is an error, one way or the other. Okay? That is not the way to behave, and that's one of the main reasons why we're in this captivity and why we can't seem to get ourselves together. So We need proper instruction. We need to be educated in the proper way, okay, with the truth. Now, finally, part of the practice is also washing of feet. Let's go real quick to a few parts. We don't have a lot of time to cover it, but let's see the washing of the feet. Can you get for me, first of all, where Yeshua washed the feet? This is in John 13. Okay, get it for me. The book of John 13. We'll start there first. Now on the screen I have a list. You probably can, when you have some time, you can go back and look at these scriptures. We'll take a few of them. We'll go to Genesis also, Exodus, and a few other places, and then we'll wrap it up. But why did Yeshua incorporate washing of the feet? Okay. Now, there are some who are divided about this whole understanding and say, well, I'm not having anyone wash my feet, or I don't believe in that. That's not part of the Passover. Okay, well, when you look historically, which we're going to look at in the book of Genesis and so forth, you'll see that the custom of our people was when you come in to have a meal, you wash up. You wash your hands, and you also wash your feet. You find also with the priests, when before they start the ordinances, they wash their hands and they also wash their feet. Okay? It was customary as part of the hospitality when we have guests, before we start, we wash our feet. Okay? Before we start. Now, when Yeshua washed the feet, did he wash it before they started or afterwards?
It says after he rise from supper.
Let's read that. Let's get that. This is in John 13 and what verse?
Verse 4.
So let's start at John 13, and I want to show you all something that I think is very important for us to look at, okay? The book of John, chapter 13. I want to share this with you. Okay, so let's take a look and see what this is saying. John 13, where you want to pick it up?
You can do it from 4. You can do it
Let's start at verses 4. Okay? Verses 4.
It says, he riseth from supper.
So Yeshua rose from supper. That means that he had a what?
A meal.
He had a meal. Okay? What did he do?
And he laid aside his garments.
Uh-huh.
And took a towel and girded himself.
Uh-huh.
After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded.
Now let me ask this quick question. Well, I'll tell you what. Read this. Read 6 and read 6 to 8, and then I'll ask this question.
Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter said unto him, Lord, doest thou wash my feet?
So he's asking, you going to wash my feet? Read.
Yeshua answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yeshua answered him, if I wash you not, you have no part with me.
And what did Kepha say?
And Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hand and my head.
Okay, and what did Yeshua say?
Yeshua saith to him, he that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all.
Okay, so he knew that their hearts were clean already, but he wanted to do something for a reason. Now, my question is, why did he wait until after the meal to wash their feet? Anyone? Does anyone know the reason why? Because it was customary for them to do what? To wash first. But why did he wait until afterwards? If something is customary, I'm accustomed to come in to the table, washing my hands, and before I come to the table, go to the bathroom, wash my hands, and sit at a table. Okay, that's normal, right? Okay, so anyone can explain to me? Yeah, but there's just a basic reason without going too deep into it. Okay. Yeah. Why would Yeshua wait until this particular time when it was already customary among Hebrews to wash their feet before a meal and on their hands and whatnot?
Humility?
Excuse me?
Humility?
Humility. That is correct. That is correct. The main issue was about humility. You see, it is so easy and it is expected of us to go through the process of just going and doing this thing. But after all the food was done and so forth, he wanted us to look at things much deeper, because we see the humility with Abraham, how he operated. We saw how the practice of the priests were, and all these things are, after a while, it becomes a tradition, it becomes customary to do these things. But what about afterwards? That is really what he was trying to send, the message he was trying to send to us as a people. Because we do things out of tradition, it's expected for us to do these things. But when you do something outside of the ordinary, it takes it to another level. And one of the main reasons our people perish in the wilderness is because we lack humility. And part of the process of purging all of these things from us was to get rid of anything that would cause us from not entering the kingdom. That's why Yeshua says, if you will not do these things, you have no part. In other words, you're cut off. You have to go through this process, because a lot of our brothers and sisters will come to meet, but and some of them will even wash feet, but still their hearts, to them, is just a custom. You see, knowing that there's a feast and knowing to do it every year, it becomes a custom. We already know the process, the procedures. We're going to come to the table, we're going to do this, we're going to wash feet, and we're done, we're home, we finish. That's it. But what happens afterwards? When we start to do things like even with the sacrifices, the reason why the Most High pulled away the sacrifices is because we turned that thing into a tradition. And it had no effect to it anymore. It lost its way. The same way with a relationship. If a woman is going to feel small if her husband comes to spend time with her and just using her, there's no connection. Parents will feel that they're being used by their children when the children don't render a certain respect in the house. Just come, eat, looking for food, or whatever it is. After a while, certain things that is so accustomed in a format becomes a tradition, and we lose our way. The Most High wants us to never forget the reasons for these things. Even in the book of Judges, before in Deuteronomy, it speaks of, I am going to cause wars to rise among Israel to teach the younger generation war that they will not forget. We had to go through these things so we will never forget. When we lose our way, we lose everything. So he was trying to teach us humility. Now, with that said, let's go to okay, so you want to read 14? Okay, so let's go. Go ahead. Where you want to go?
I will do 13 and 14. Or you want to read? Yeah.
Okay, so you can go ahead and read 12 to 14, and then we're going to wrap it up there, okay? Go ahead and read.
You call me Master and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am.
Uh-huh.
If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you.
So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. It was already customary for Passover for us to wash before, but he wanted us to do this as an extra measure so we wouldn't forget who we are as a people and that we are each other's brother and sister. We are each other. We are the same one seed from the loins of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 patriarchs. We're the same people scattered among the nations. We look a little bit different here and there and so forth. And therefore, we don't see each other as our own selves. And therefore, we had to rectify these issues by thinking along the line as the same family, Mishpachah. Okay? So, there's much more to bring out as far as preparation. The most important part of the preparation is our hearts. Just to recap again, because we're in diaspora, it is difficult for many of us to. Can you get for me John 10:7 to 9, please? Because we're in diaspora, we're not going to be able to do a lot of things, so we must utilize wisdom. We don't say, well, throw your hands up, I'm not doing anything. We make an effort. The Most High says, I have seen the oppression, and I've heard their cry, and I'm there to deliver them. A woman, according to the Torah, who is engaged or is married to another man, she's in a contract with another man. If another man finds her in the field and lays with her, a man who is not her husband, and she cries out, that man is going to be put to death. But the woman, will not be put to death. Why? Because she was not, in agreement.
And
she cried out. She was not a willing participant. But if she was a willing participant, she lay there and she enjoyed every moment of it. The Most High says that woman and the man must be put to death. In other words, the teaching from that Mishpachah is that we are that woman who is uncomfortable with someone abusing us or putting us in an uncomfortable position. And we don't want to break the Most High's commandment. We are in contract, a legal contract with our King. We are his bride. Some other force has been forcing themselves upon us, causing us not to be comfortable with that situation, and therefore we cry out and says, I hate this, I hate it, I hate it. The Most High is going to spare us and destroy those nations. That's the reason why when we read the Torah, it speaks about saving us and destroying the nations who have touched the apple of his eye. But if we are saying, I don't care, it feels good, I'm part of it, no problem, the Most High says, those Israelites who do not cry out and is comfortable with their situation, they're going to be destroyed with the rest of the nations. Okay? I'm going to take this one last verse. I was going to read Proverbs, but let's take John 10:7 and 9. You all can read that on your own. People who come to Passover or come to any holy convocation just to peep and to see what's happening, the Bible says those people will not enter in. In other words, those peepers will not enter this holy convocation. So if you're coming just to socialize and just to peep, that's not for you. Okay? John 10, verses 7 to 9. Go ahead and read that.
Then said Yeshua unto them again.
Is
it John 7 or John 10, right?
John 10, 7 to 9.
Then said Yeshua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers.
So he's the door. Go ahead.
But the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture.
7 to 9. Okay. So he says, I am the door of the sheep. Everyone that comes before me were thieves. They didn't have the interest of Israel at heart. Those who don't come the right way will be cut off Israel. I'm just telling you like it is. Let's take this thing with seriousness. We're gonna have fun too. We'll enjoy the convocation. We're gonna have wonderful meals. We're looking forward to those who prepare everything, what they have to bring to the table. And brothers and sisters, those of you who do not have others to congregate with, you can still make a little meal. We're gonna have everything live streamed, so when we eat, you eat. when we go through the whole ordinance, you will be able to see it live, and you'll have an opportunity to also participate with us just where you are and where we are, but we will still be together as one. So, well, we're okay. So that will be in Genesis chapter 18. Okay. So Maisha is using the power of the woman to get me to read this part. So bear with me. Let's go to Genesis 18 real quick. She want to share with you Abraham washing the feet. Okay. So these are the things that the customs of our people. Yes. Let me get it on the screen, and then we will wrap it up. Okay, go ahead.
Do I start from 3?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's when the angels came to visit Abraham, and he said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant.
Mm-hmm.
Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourself under the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll read 5. It says, And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort he your hearts.
Mm-hmm.
After that you shall pass on.
Mm-hmm.
For therefore are he come to your servant. And they said, So do as thou hast said.
Okay.
And then it tells you how Abraham hasted, which is on a Passover.
Quickly.
Right, and he made 3 measures of fine meal, and they knead it and make cakes upon the hearth.
Mm-hmm.
And a young man went to get a calf, and so on. So you see the process.
Mm-hmm. So if you make the bread in haste, it's more than likely be unleavened bread.
Yes.
So brothers and sisters, we're going to have to stop here. Does anyone have any comments or any questions, anything that you want to ask? I'm sure I probably miss something or the other, but I'll give you all a few minutes for those of you.
There's a Passover. With the Passover, I could invite a few friends to the house.
Well, that all depends, brother. What is the purpose of inviting them?
To do the Passover meal with me.
Okay. Are they Hebrews or non-Hebrews?
So they're trying to convert over like myself.
Okay, so as you are Hebrew, they are Hebrews. That is fine, brother. Again, because we're in diaspora, we make provisions accordingly, because the purpose of this is to win our people back. And because we are learning every Shabbat, we are learning every time we have classes like this, you pick up more, you learn, and so forth. Then you start to make those changes accordingly. That is why Abraham did not get circumcised the same very moment he was called to leave his father's house. He went through many years before he got circumcised, because the Most High tried him and see where his heart was.
Okay.
Right, and a lot of our people who were in Egypt were not circumcised either. Before they kept this Passover, a lot of our people were not circumcised, okay? So,
I got you.
but it's a requirement. He wanted us to make that effort to do so. So if you don't know about it, okay, now you know. What do you do from here? Okay, that's how he looks at things. Okay, always start with the heart.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. Because then it'll be a ritual.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions from our family out there or Mishpachah? Okay, let's see. I'm told they bless it in the name of their God. Okay, so someone, let's see. Okay, so for our brother made a comment about the shambles, or probably some of the meat being blessed in the name of other gods and whatnot is probably true. In some cases, that is exactly what it is. We don't know. Listen, when we're in diaspora, we don't have too many Hebrews who raise sheep. we don't have too many Hebrews who have goat. If you can't find a lamb, you can buy some goat. But it has to be either a lamb or a goat. It can't be a beef steak or something, a cow. Okay? And there are some brothers who say, well, I only eat fish. The Bible says it's required to have lamb. It's a requirement. So what do you do when you get to the kingdom? And please don't tell me about, well, it'll be clean then, so I'll eat it then. Well, you eat a lot of other things, and you don't make an excuse about eating those things. So we have some stiff-necked brothers and sisters who say, well, I'm vegan, I don't eat the lamb. You have to. It's part of the process. Okay? I'm not going to let anything keep me back from the kingdom. You can if you want, but I'm not. I understand the role of the Messiah very well. Okay? So this lamb is not to replace him. It's part of what is to be done. When you read the prophets, what the kingdom is going to be like, guess what? The Messiah himself will be sacrificed, having lambs sacrificed. Lambs, bulls, and all these things will be done in his kingdom. Not the Father's kingdom, but in his kingdom. So what do you say then? So let us leave that for another time. What else do we have, brothers and sisters? Any comments? Any questions?
So it's safe to say that the Messiah eat lamb at the Passover meal?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Okay. He didn't have a roasted ham on the table. He had lamb.
So we could roast. Okay, so we could roast it like on the grill.
Yes, you can roast it with fire. And I'm going to roast ours on a fire flame, big flame. That all that blood and everything else, any fat will drain, or anything, impurity, whatever it is, the fire will take care of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and we have brothers and sisters down in the Virgin Islands, for example, that they do raise their own sheep. So they're going to be celebrating with much joy. Because they know what they have fed their animals. They understand the rules of the book, and they know what they have to do, and they'll do it properly. So.
Yeah, in Honduras there is none, so we gotta figure that one out.
There you go. So, brother, you're in a better place than the brothers and sisters in this captivity over here. So you already have a plus on your side, and we will work with you accordingly and ask the Most High to make a way that you can come up to the proper knowledge and understanding. And Most High willing, you might be a light in your community. Okay?
I'll let you say.
So stay strong, and we will get you up to speed, Most High willing, so you can be a light and teacher amongst your people there. Okay, brothers and sisters, between now and Shabbat, if there's any comments or any questions or anything that may arise before Passover, let me know. I can always, do a side class on this, interject some more beforehand. Please let me know. So at this time, I'm going to ask Elder if he's available to close out with prayer. We're a little bit past the hour, past the time, and we thank the Most High that you all haven't fallen asleep. I pray that the Most High keep you and strengthen you. Elder, are you ready?
I'm here.
All right.
I am here.
Okay, it's all yours, Elder.
All right, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you, dear Lord. We thank you again for the time that the teacher has spent on all of us together, that we can share the words of the living God to us. We pray, dear God, that we bless him, and also that we bless all of us that participate tonight, your loving words. Any of us that are not feeling well, we pray, dear God, that we touch them from the crown of their head to the sole of their feet. Dear Father, that everyone will be feeling well and will give you the praise and the glory. We thank you again for all the family that are listening tonight. Bless us all and give all of us a good night rest. Bless the teacher and his family, and guide us to the rest of the night. And in the morning we'll give you the praise and the glory. And all God's children say everywhere, thank you, Lord. And all the praise belongs to him. Hallelujah.
Amen. Thank you, Elder, so much. Well, brothers and sisters, I love you all. Stay strong, stay sharp. Until next time, we say Laila Tov or good night in English, Laila Tov in Hebrew. May the Most High bless and keep you all on this road to Zion.
Laila Tov, good night.
Good night.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shah